Whoa. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, me people them of Sierra Leone and well wishers and the people they all where they watch we every day na VOS. This na Fadima. I don't come to una again with me two hosts them, Mr. Kutubu Koroma and Mr. Shilan. We don't come again for can talk on things them where they happen now the social media we get for do with salon business. And today we get something them what we don't put together for una for we can talk on. We know say the saga continue between Chernor of the Africanist press. We not go say Chernor because they don't say if we say Chernor, would they say it's about him? It is not about him. It is like not on in no more than the Africanist press. Them boku where they work together. Great minds that they come together that they do investigative journalism, Africa continent, especially West Africa, and then focus one of the countries they would then focus on Sierra Leone and how. So it continue the Africanos press and the President's Bureau in administration. And also we get again what we get for talk, we go yeri where the civil society, Charles Mambo, when I in at the head, don't come out and make your own statement where the ACC. We go see again inside today where the parliament be don't call them people them where then at the administration, the finance, the one that way responsible for money business, they don't call them say let them can go answer query. Then again, we see again another letter, Cherikoko and KKY them when a parliamentarian them and they don't come together, then say then get for go answer. Then get for call people, then for let them can answer because when you hear something, then get for ask the question and the question continue for ask and then get for ask them. Regardless of who that sit on at the chair, who that sit on at the bench, who that they rule, nobody is above the law because the coat of arms say unity, freedom, and justice for all. What is good for the goose is also good for the gander. So we don't say the president administration we get people them we don't come out one Ibrahim Soare when I in a head executive director manager whatever entitled be of procurement when I in there for give the approval for them to use government money for biting them we go hear what he say on 98.1. So la not talk boku today because sorry we come a little bit late. We try, but sometimes things then beyond we control. We're not able to focus exactly at 2 p.m. Eastern 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Eastern Standard Time, yeah, Eastern Standard Time. So we know, we sorry for that, but una continue for hang with we, una continue for be with we, and una again as always. I can say now, una na the voice of Sierra Leone. Una na the voice of Sierra Leone. This week, last week we passed so inside Texas, the weather was terrible all over America to the East Coast. The weather just stopped everything. We can say blackout and pipe them boss and whatever. This not because of weather, but Salone. That's why we they talk. We see the minister of energy, then they put poll them. We company the thief, then they go cut poll them back. That they all now we say they put we say beer, we say one go before, And then another thing we'll get for talk on today. We don't always they call out to the first lady, but in behavior, the way they carry herself. Well, a distinguished woman, an elderly woman at Sierra Leone, a woman where don't get the highest honor, where people they forget, where they don't give them 2 terms, they don't give honor. The president shall honor them, whatever they don't give them, award them. Don't come out and don't make an open letter for the behavior of we first lady. Not to hate the hate Fatima Bio. They want because when it's him up, they talk, it represents we the people of Sierra Leone. It is an honorary position because he fortunate for married to the president where the people they vote for. But you for know how for carry yourself with poise and grace and class. That is what Mrs. Gaba is talking about. We will talk on Mrs. Gaba accomplishment that will come to that side. So let not make go far. La call Mr. Shilon in, where he's a professor. He's a lawyer in North Carolina, a defense lawyer, over 40 years has been practicing, and he just come for Kalen can put his sense. And as usual, me other co-hosts, we historian, we young professor na yaso na VOS na we been given that name day. We own honorary professor. We put the honor panam inside here, regardless of sometimes when I not like what they say, but in the same as you see 'em, you know. So we get an ISO because they try for balance. Let we know everybody mind how everybody they tell. We all not go in one place, but we all they try for Canada the middle for low able push along go before. So that pass on to Unamicos them. There we go on with the program.
Well, hi, everybody. This is Mr. Shilon. Hello, good afternoon, good evening. Back again this week for where we talk and discuss issues where they affect Sierra Leone. And I hope we will get some contribution from Una and the listeners. And I hope we will extend the mutual courtesies we can extend to both listeners and presenters. So thank you very much. Hope at the end of the show, we'll go learn something from each other.
Well, I want to join or associate myself with the remarks or to not make, and obviously we look forward to a very robust and fruitful discussions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We can begin with Corona. Corona, then at the world, Corona don't cripple the world. Corona, Corona, Corona. Everywhere we go, we see Corona. Then say vaccine don't come up for the Corona. Now we get shortage of the vaccine. When I just remember, then country there, so we get all the money. They're not able to fight Corona. We went a SALONE. God don't sorry for we, you know. And as much as, you know, we they say Corona, not in a SALONE, but Corona in a SALONE. Corona, they kill people in a SALONE, you know. So 79 people they don't die, and 4 people right now get new case of Corona. Corona they kill, on a low I heat to waiting and they say, on a low try for do, wear we mask, wash we hand, practice social distancing. We no say we're not able to practice social distancing. That ain't not possible inside Africa. It's not possible. Any side you go to Africa, social distance, we all the over will compete the aid, we all they breathe the same air. So that's why then they encourage una, then they tell una, say, una get for wear the mask. Because if I breathe by you say breathe by me, I inhale Corona they kill. And another thing where they don't fend over the Guinea border, we don't see say Ebola don't come back. And Ebola ain't not get medicine. Corona, at least they don't pull some medicine. And Corona, before the medicine self come out, it can kill some, it left some. It depends on how your body day plus waiting again, you know, usa you get her, usa you not get them, and waiting God don't mark for you inside there. But we get for being responsible. We get for go by waiting and say, and let God do the rest. Let we left the rest to the dunya, let we left the rest to the universe, let we left the rest to the Almighty. Because we don't know what the next second bring. We don't know what thing will come the next second where it pertain to we help, but we they do we part. So that's why we the advise and talk to una and we they encourage una say, do ya una lo we wear we mask them, because mask is one of the biggest thing where they help for minimize the spread of coronavirus. So back to una, I don't know if una get anything else for say, because we see the president go to Guinea, and we don't, you know, we don't talk on them. The last time we say it don't go to Guinea, it don't go try for come together for this problem with them in get with this border issue, and Guinea don't agree say they go open the border back, but Ebola day, and una remember, because we not Amanda will quick for forget. Would they forget only when the thing happen now they remember, but when the time don't pass, would they forget like nothing not be happening. Ebola don't come back na Africa, and right now it then a neighbor us. It then a neighbor us, it then a Guinea. And nothing not able for stop and pass the grace of God for no cancer, because people are going back and forth. So on allow take the precaution, on allow listen to the health officials them, and on allow do what you for do. So I pass on to the panelists them, and if anybody get anything for add for this Corona Ebola.
Well, the only thing when we get for add, now the fact that sometimes, like you say, we can tend for relax or lax, get a lax attitude towards situations, because when Corona come, we don't see both in our own country and Guinea, whereby even the last and the own officials, them including the president himself, they celebrate birthday openly without mask. And you see, the trouble is they're not the enforce much under, we know the enforce then the two countries then get several exchange, people flowing, going back and forth over the boundaries then. So that becomes a big problem. So we just wonder if the government then will get more concerned. Sometimes they can share cost. If they can get, we will say laboratories, back home I think they say laboratories, we go to look into then thing here for continue, not to always when we get disaster, or we'll get for to take some preventive approach towards likely occurrences. So we know say Ebola be come, then say it died down. We know say Corona exists. So just because they kill as many of we don't then say we governments then the two governments, because sometimes it's cheaper if then countries that can come together and collaborate or do things together. Now they for begin for think big, for begin open some research centers jointly where they can fund collectively, where we can staff collectively by having people, well-qualified people in Sierra Leone, Guinea, maybe Liberia. And these are the kind of things we for to talk about, because we cannot just be so selfish, to think about unborn generations. Because we know say then here, not to the last corona, this is the last COVID-19 virus, this will take place. There will be some coming down the line, even if this is taken care of with vaccines then. So it's about time we, the Africans, but not just so-called, because I don't even like for the broad in the here with Africa, because there are a lot of African countries that have really taken on the mantle of responsibility, good governance, and they are doing great. We got good countries like Botswana. We see Ghana has made a name for themselves recently. Nigeria, a lot of times, they do wonderful, because if you look past the Nigerian government, you look at individual state governments there. Nigeria does extraordinarily wonderful things. Now, some states where the federal government itself not get handspan or not get anything for do it. So we know say Ethiopia, we know say Rwanda. So there are a lot of good African countries that we can take a look at and see what you need to do. We don't even need for the talk about the Western nations them, because we'll get real examples them. And Africa Day, where if we look, we'll go able for solve a lot of problems then. But we're so dependent on foreign aid. We want the World Health Organization, we want the United Nations, we want the World Bank for solve all the problems. We don't want for think, we don't want for lay foundation, we don't want for plan towards unforeseen events. We just wait. When something happens, then we wait for see how much we will get from the outside world. It's about time we stop that, because to me, that's the height of irresponsibility. And as I always can say, we're much too educated. We get educated people with tremendous credentials. They're just being lazy. But then for the set of policies for avert or prevent or avoid some of them likely and foreseeable occurrences. So if we begin to tackle government in that way, we'll get less problem. We're not going to wait till something happen, they will begin to deal with effect. Sometimes we also have to deal with and cause. And then we know we're going to deal with the effect, or we'll prolong the effect. But with the way state things happen, then we kind of sensationalize them for make people say, oh, and then we need for cut down somehow and begin for to say all the time, I don't have to pray no more, not for pray. No, prayer, no. God don't give you the ability to solve some of them problems. So with prayer, yes. But we get the ability, we can't just be so lazy, everything for just pray. We for begin for think. We will not go universities for come back and begin for pray. A lot of the problems there in the country where they advance not depend just on prayers, then depend on using a God-given talent for solve problems. So Ebola, we don't hear about Ebola. Now so we'll be careless about the war. Where be there Liberia? We wait. We take with time. Then we say begin. It reach the border, and then we begin for send army man. Then they and we know the deal even governmentally. I don't think we get intelligence agencies then wait for infiltrate other countries and forget idea waiting they happen there. So news will come back so we can begin for prepare. So we know the you see we just too with the act like we say we're not a part of the world. But in today's world, interaction between government, we even forget intelligence operation. People then wait in other country where they work for we own country just to see what in they observe things and send them back in. So we'll get for be a little more sophisticated. We're just trying to just be basic and relaxed and expect the international organizations them and then other charitable organizations them for take care of a problem. But that's not going to solve a problem. You know, it's about time we take we own future seriously. And some African countries already got it. Now we still we are more into the money grabbing aspect and setting bad policy for oppress and suppress other Australians. Then we get ideas for make things good for the country. You know, so but this is an suggestion contribution. So Ebola Day, the boundary, then say let us know which take come across the boundary before we begin implement or adopt policies. It's now we will take preventive measures so things not go come what we get for deal with. And we know say the thing about Ebola, where Ebola come in na equal opportunity striker. You reach you're not professional or in a way declare you. So I hope we're not going to be that slack because we see what Ebola do the last time. A lot of health workers, a lot of medical doctors, a lot of high-powered people got caught up in that. But Corona, we see say that also is deadly. We are lucky we not get so much effect of them. So we thank you. That side, but let's do what we can do for prevent all entity because these things are preventable. Now you make we get government, now you make we get them bukumaya. Now then job that one, then job not to for just come, make money, live the good life, not do nothing. Then job now for prevent, now then at the Merisimane will for look down. Now the fortune tellers then, now the book learning, that's what book learning is all about. You know, for make educated prediction, you know, so you can foretell that certain things will happen certain times. So please, we talk to government officials then Guinea and Sierra Leone. So we are officials then and now them for begin sound the alarm to Guinea, you know, not to for can begin the fight over border closure because one politician at Guinea thinks say one tribe in Sierra Leone they try for prevent them for abusing constitutional power. But let's look beyond that. Let's look at the common interests because most of we get relatives in Guinea, most of the Guineans get relatives in Australia. That's all I have to say.
Okay, Professor, do you have anything to add to the quick?
Well, other than the fact that everybody take precautions, I wish everybody very good luck. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So now go to this talk they will come for today. Okay, with corruption, yeah, so we don't hear Mr. Chernor and the Africanus press. We call an VOS the whistleblower. Now the whistleblower, we don't blow a big alarm. We don't talk on waiting it come with. It come with article them. It come with paperwork them. It come with bank accounts them. It come with transaction them. It come with boku thing them. It put and they say na so and so this government they do. And it talks say one of in waiting and call. He said that he said President Bio in government don't travel past all man, all them president and so far. He said, and for this traveling here, so he said, then create a method for let them get money. He say corruption not mean say you just take the money. Or say that they create method for let them make the money, so they go take the money will belong to the people them and get them for themselves. So they get them per them corruption. They get their allocation of things. They say, oh, we want to go buy this, we want to go buy that. Then go buy and one and then they get even the chief minister now. Now in the biggest one we don't come out where he puts the chief minister in case before where he talks say. The chief minister in Monina, almost millions, almost billion leons, I forget, 34 billion, 34 billion leons. Now the fourth chief minister, now they allege say the chief minister in office don't misappropriate, they don't use that is the way that they take money out of people them. And he said in question the way they ask, he said because it been there now 98.1, they ask and question them, and he said there is bloated payroll where payroll that then they give themselves raise where parliaments no know where salon people that sit down the teacher the way they work the lawyer the way they work, the lawyer and the doctor the way they work the civil servant the other half on the people then they're not they get paid, but then people then they get paid every month, then they live the lavish life, then they try for take the money in a salon way for go pan salon business, then they put her inside their own interest where they go able pocket this money. Now Chernor in your claim that they where they don't claim the African Express because I left for say Chernor I say the African Express. Now he don't do that. So he also talk on the the cost of traveling expenses. Almost it don't cost the people there. All he puts an in publication. Put an in publication. Then he see the chief minister inside the chief minister account. He get boku money them where they go to one person inside the same day, inside the same drawer with withdrawal of bank accounts in them. Then they now the thing then they were in them put forth say who side them money I mean they go waiting them they do this is the way they use the money and this is the way then they take the salon people the money and put on like say then they do things them inside pockets now in the claim way don't claim. Sierra Leone and them we split on the issue because it depends on whose party we there. Some people say they don't pay Chernor. Some people say Chernor they're hero, they do a good job for Sierra Leone. But we, in Africa, we Sierra Leonean, because I talk about Sierra Leonean, even though we are Africans, but we are all Sierra Leoneans. And me, what me don't come to where they can say, are we really ready for change where we want? Do we have to attack whistleblowers or we go find out or we get for find out? That's why we get people that we don't say then they can't find out. We get the SEC where then we don't put us in our organization. We get for the find out and try for fetch corruption. And Bokupa we and myself to what's in a call. I was kind of like Mr. Ben Kelfol and I mean only hope I get for Salone. I'm serious and this is how I feel. And I am a Sierra Leonean. I get right for C. But if Mr. Ben Kelfol now what then tell him is say, well, Inge for go back 14 years first when the urgency is now for the thing that where they are the ground now, where you can go to that later. In order to give we kind of hope because we begin say, wait a minute here, what's in the gone, we they get doubts. We not mortal man, we they get because we went President Bill promised with the change, and we want to see the change. Say nobody is above the law. He say Inge for go back 14 years and nobody not go tell them how for doing job in your man in the do how we want. But until now we put on there until now we president put on there. So long we they watch them, let we they see because in one of the people that I've been get hope say Salone go turn the corner, but I don't know yet what will happen to that, because the blockage, of we people them is our minds. Our minds are blocked. Our minds, we have been conditioned, we have been programmed, we have been made to think that we cannot think for ourselves. We run with people the idea, we not see logic, we're not able to break down. If somebody can tell me, say, me picking, they do this or me picking, they do that, behind me back. Okay, I love me picking to death. But guess what they go do? They go to me picking and ask me picking the question, did you do what they say you're doing? Are you lying to me? How can I fight for you if you not tell me the truth? Now the first thing that they will for do, no matter how we love with politicians, no matter how we did by tribe, how we did, our blockage with minds are blocked and we cannot think for ourselves because we owe allegiance to people, we owe allegiance to parties, we owe allegiance to tribe, and that is the problem why we know they move forward because they can have the regulations there, but once one per we or one per me clansman or one per me tribesman or woman will do something, I don't have the courage to stand and before that people go come and attack and waiting and call before they find out say waiting at the truth because we all want change for Salone. We all want good news for Salone. Me, now one of the people that want let this government, I want let we succeed because we don't tire for the inside people and country them. We don't tire for Yeri altar. We don't tire for carry the burden of people in Africa. Now Sierra Leone. Now we they carry the burden. We they contribute to the thing, even though we then at the diaspora. That's why I say in as much as the war was bad, in as much as the war destroyed life, but it opened the door. It's a blessing in disguise a little bit. We open the door. We make a lot of people then come over to the diaspora. We're able to feed them people in today. Because corruption after corruption, government after government, 60 years still struggling and fighting corruption. Let we sit down, let we wait, let we look. We all get for ask the question. We all get, no matter how you like your mama, if your mama do bad, you forget the courage for saying, no matter if I ain't born you, you forget the courage. Because religion don't corrupt with mind. We say now God put on day. No, sometimes now we they put people in day where they can't hurt we. We allow it to happen because we don't value ourselves. We don't value what we have. We don't value the importance of waiting. We not value ourselves. We rather put the other people and let them live the good life. We they suffer, but yet we they sing praises and try for pull we close for faith for people. Them we not get with best interest at heart. We not get with best country at heart. So I can't play a message for Ona. I can't play for us. The on 98.1 we get Mr. Tommy, Mr. Charles Mabo. Charles Mabo now one of the activists that are Sierra Leone, the human rights activists, them with social civil society people, them where they try for say the government for do right by the people. And we are here on a 98.1 interview where where they talk and they say, you know, una yari for una self with the SCC boss in complaint where beaucoup people they complain say why Mr. Ben Kelfala for go 14 years back, why he get for understand the office, why look at the allegation now, then he go later. But let we listen for ourselves. Let we listen. Now let we listen to Mr. Mambo.
This salon. We want to welcome the chief executive, the procurement office, the boss day, with Kaya this morning for look at processes.
Tuesday, the program this Tuesday morning. This BNTM, the Anti-Corruption Commission, been put world sitting to investigate the office of the First Lady for the past 14 years. We know how this office on the operate. We be make some people been say the ACC for just look inside the current allegation them, whether at the public for sake the way how the First Lady office they use government's money. But according to the chairman for the Coalition for Civil Society, Charles Mambo, the organization is said they support the action where the Anti-Corruption Commission don't take. For look back inside the past 14 years, how the office of the First Lady don't they work. Charles Mambo explained more about their position inside this interview with Alex Lawrence Koroma.
When ACC release come up, we sit down as a coalition member for discussion, and our position is very clear, and the clarity of our position is based on the fact that ACC need, like they put in the press release, for investigate the allegations surrounding the office of the First Lady, and they have to do it from where it started, because they get for do a baseline study for know whether support from government to the office of the First Lady don't ever happen. So for we in the coalition, we support the position of the ACC for look at, do them baseline study by looking backward, and that one will give them strength to whatever conclusion they get for reach at. that and actions they may want to take, we go give them enough information of what don't happen at the past and what don't happen now. So for us, the coalition of civil society, we feel say what ACC is doing intend to do is just to do a baseline study of what how the office of the first ladies in the past they don't work and up to this level.
All right, so much debate there around this investigation. Some people they say, why now? When a lot of investigation only go on, but the office of the first lady never come in, and why only when the current first lady they're on the spotlight, then the ACC come in for say, okay, we need for the broad investigation. Many people they say they for look at the current one and later can look at another issue.
Yeah, no, that are what some people they say. Any topical issue like this, people are divided. But from we own point of view, if you say why now, the question will be why not now? Again, this is the first time the office of the first lady they come to this kind of light. This is the first time, as far as we know, some of we don't take in development and governance and accountability issue for quite some time. This is the first time where me know where the Auditor General don't put report about the office of the first lady. I might be right or wrong, you know. So because this is the first time in our own view, this is happening, ACC cannot just take a decision as right now. They need to go backward. But coming backward will give them strength. You know, I can just give you an example. You know, the former president of America, Donald Trump, they go na trial now na Congress. You know, one of the lawyers say, no, the pardon come out, you know, we not get no constitutional mandate for country. The other one don't come out say, no, this don't happen. In 1884, it don't happen. And it bring all the evidence. So when you go backward, like how ACC don't put on, it give you strength for see how you go come in to the present. And it can also be, you know, a solution for future and a lesson for all other first ladies. Mind you, Madam Fatima Bio is not going to be the first and the last first ladies in Sierra Leone. So many other first ladies are coming. So now that the office don't come, you know, and people want to know how they are being supported, ACC need to go backward so that by the time they conclude the investigation, then the nation, the first ladies, and any other people will all mind go be clear.
Many schools have thought they say, why ACC not start this investigation from 1996?
Yeah, well, perhaps our own position from coalition of civil society is that ACC has to start from backward because this is the first time this kind of issue on this office they come up. So it can be 1996, it can be 1991, it can be 1992. They can do it as well in Maduna, as long as they give us a baseline result of what be done happen. And I saw as development expert myself, I think when you do a baseline study of an issue, of a program or project or a country, it gives you the next step or how do you do your intervention.
You know, one part of civil society, them we work with the former first lady, more in the area of health, and also the work around governance and development issues around the country. In any way, you get taught, say, former first ladies, they get support from the central government?
No, quite definitely, I would not say that.
All right. Well, that's not Charles Mambo, the chairman for Coalition for.
Another year, the chairman for Coalition for Change, where now they advocate for we the people them. Now then they make noise to governments. Now then they international people then they talk to for then get the what you think, Mr. Shillon, what are your take on Mr. Mambo, Charles Mambo, and your contribution we give, any explanation we give why the ACC in support the ACC for go back, because as we know per this government na the first 10 days, na the first term, and we don't get that word they be boku term na the first 10 days, na the first 10 days. So this back na the first term when they investigate the office of the first lady and other institution them where at this massive scale. So this is not the first time where Africanos Press, even though Africanos Press been the do for the previous administration them, it been they write about them, it been they talk about them. But in fairness, like social media not been big so yet, like I big so right now. So make a pass on to you, sir, Mr. Shillon, what you hear Mr. Mambo talk, and then Professor, you go take her up.
All right. I agree with the general concept of what Mr. Mambo talk about the baseline study. Logically, it makes sense. The question is, does this situation call for that? I get a little skepticism or hesitancy about the ACC going back 14 years, but I don't want to second guess them because I don't know which and the reasoning for wanting to go back 14 years. The way the situation is, to me, it's pretty simple. The allegation is simply that the First Lady, let us not lose sight of what the allegation is and what the disclosure is. The allegation and the disclosure is that the First Lady, who previously say get in your organization that was funded independently from government, Mr. Africanist Press, through Mr. Chernor, find out for say it is not so. That some of the money with the First Lady to use for promote in own social agenda, they come directly from the government. But Mr. Ba also say that is not what the problem is. The problem is there are ways and methods that money should be appropriated. There are channels the money is to go through, where in the end, wherever there is expenditure, there will have to be accountability at the end. Because let us get a good understanding of Mr. Chernor in point. And in the accused, the First Lady say, she has not been upfront, that some of the information that she's been given have not been factually correct or even truthful, and that a good amount of the money that she's been getting a good amount of money unaccounted for and undisclosed to the public from the government. That is basically what the allegation is. Everybody jump up and say, investigate, ACC. Well, we have to look at, there are so many things one has to deal with here. First, let me deal with Mr. Mambo Inyun thing. This situation, for me, in my humble opinion, not call for baseline study. The example I can give, if there is an existing law that says on Shaka Stevens Street, between the hours of 6 a.m. and 6 p.m., nobody should drive at a speed of 65 miles an hour. That law, they all exist. Now, city ordinance nowadays, which means the law exists. Just like our Mr. Chernor is saying, there is already method and practice and procedures, established methods and practices, okay? There are rules, there are regulations that civil servants should go by. Now, so if somebody they drive now Westmoreland, Shaka Stevens Street, within those hours what I just named, you drive, then say you're not for drive more than 35 miles an hour because you go endanger the lives of people, because you likely your life included, you go endanger property, then get policy and procedure. Somebody can begin drive, let's say for the past 10 years, people in the drive 65 miles an hour, contrary to the established laws that you shouldn't drive more than 35 miles an hour. But for the past 10 years, government or the police not see fit for charge or stop anybody. Then all of a sudden, a press man say, wait a minute, why are they allowing people for drive so fast in this place there, then which is wrong, is contrary to the law. Then they say for the past 10 years, nobody able to do that. Then all of a sudden, the news might bring them up. And we say, well, you know, not true. We don't have to go back, say, 10 years, starting for investigate 10 years ago, all the people who will be the drive at that speed. It's just that someone is calling it to our attention now that, hey, there is something going wrong. And if we are serious about combating corruption and misappropriation, we have to start somewhere. And we see something inappropriate about the First Lady. This does not call for a baseline approach because there is already existing laws. So just because First Ladies then get away with that, you can't say because somebody they broke the rules or the law previously, therefore, I may say get right for broker. It just happened that you bad luck, that you didn't catch. I mean, we were in America, we see it all the time. You driving on the highway, you get state troopers, them all over the place. They say no more than 70 miles an hour. How many times haven't we seen somebody will come and drive 100 miles an hour, 110, 90 miles an hour? Trooper not going to stop them. Then all of a sudden, somebody who do 80 miles an hour gets stopped. You cannot argue that then for go back and check all the one that broke the law. So the 14-year going back thing, to me, it don't make any sense because there were established policies and procedure. Now, for investigative reason, it might make sense as a reference point for say we don't allow this thing to get out of hand because in order for them to do them. You can refer to it like that for say going back as far back as Lady Milty Magai or Rebecca Stevens or Lady Esther Magai. We can go back, but it not be a serious relevance to what's happening today, because the issue of corruption has never been front and center in Sierra Leone politics, you know, and political discourse as we have it now today. So it's a more relevant issue. So the baseline thing to me is unnecessary. It's not going to be any relevance. Okay. Now, but please yes, let me make this quick point. The thing I don't agree. I don't share the views with those who want Ben Kelfala for getting to this at this stage. When you see all the irregularities that would take place within the government and the big amount of money, the Commission of Inquiries, they don't come, we're not hearing nothing much as to what have been collected. So the First Lady in $1 or $2 million, let's say even $3 million, in the grand scheme of things, is peanut compared to the bigger corruption would take place. What would they hear about shipment of iron ore unannounced to the nation, going to China without Parliament knowing? Do we realize how much millions of dollars is involved in that shipment today? What is that what is the First Lady's compared to that? So we should be going after. And last but not least, the ACC's office and now go substitute the functions of Parliament. Parliament get the primary duty for put them foot down for a variety of reasons, because if we get 3 or 4 arms of government, therefore make sure say they no shark their responsibility and let the executive trample all over them. So me not share the opinion say Ben Kelfala for make that a priority. There are other more serious matters. I know the First Lady is not a favorite person to a lot of people, and so sometimes she gets on the nerves of people. But then we pursue them here with calm, with level-headed, with level heads, so we can understand.
But Mr. Shillon, some people would say, this woman has been verbally saying, "Go and drive for myself. I'm not getting nothing." Me say, what you know all I do? They not they pay me, I not they get no money. She has said it arrogantly.
Yeah, but she's been proven to be lying.
Our words can get we in trouble, because this is why Mr. Chernor and the Africanist press them, when they come with say, the Africanist press, they can say, these people put in their manifesto one thing, but they're doing something else. And one of the things that what they do, then they hide and legitimize, and then they diversify public funds by making appointments. Let me say that they make appointments, because he made one of the things where he said that president and cameraman, they make over 20 million leons a month, and the nutritionist of the president, they make over 20 million, while the professor at the university are not getting paid, when the nurses and the school teachers are not getting paid, when people then they work, they get paid, but then they do in this thing. And this is why, I mean, no matter how small it is, it should not be like ignored. You understand what I'm saying, sir? So
yes, but
uh-huh.
now my point simply is, I'm not saying it should be ignored. There are so many things on the table. We therefore prioritize. We can't just go after everything. I'm not saying that should be ignored. I'm not saying it is correct to the First Lady. I condemn that just as much. But when Mr. Chernor bring all this, which I think he's doing a fantastic job, we get the NGC, we get the other opposition party then, besides Parliament itself. What are they saying? This is information being given out to them for free, waiting for capitalize on, and then get for capitalize on that and explore in tier 2. But we just can't. Those who are raising questions, I mean, because the silliness of people and they say, oh, Chernor bad and don't pay and this and that. That's rubbish because these are baseless allegations. We have to be thankful for the Chernor bars. I said it the last time and I'll say it again. A democracy is nothing if you don't have people with the talent and dedication of them Chernor bars them. Because a lot of us cannot do that, So if I don't say we're not like for hearing the truth.
So then, yes, sir. Go
ahead.
Thoughts, sir. Finish your thoughts.
No, I just want to
say, should we be hopeful that change will come to Sierra Leone? Professor,
I think so.
To you, Mr. Shilo, you pick her up to. Will change come? Will anything come out of all these findings? Because I get one way day before me now, where Mr. Chernor writes, now one of his social media page them. Here is a list of cash withdrawal authorized by the chief minister from the chief minister's account. This is only section of 10 transaction over 1 billion leones, all withdrew within 3 months along and taken out cash without any explanatory reasons. Now ask yourself whether these large cash withdrawals are the ways public finance are supposed to be think. And this is the money where he make. He make a list. He say from September 2018 to December 2018, it gets the transaction ID, it gets the transaction detail, which is cash withdrawal. I don't know if the technical thing will put that up for me. I just sent Antona. And then it say, you get like one person, Sidiki Jabi, Ibrahim Fofana, Sidiki Jabi. These are withdrawal, cash withdrawal, foreign currency. And then cash withdrawal, doubly Kawa or something. Cash withdrawal, Sidiki Jabi. Cash withdrawal, foreign currency. And all this for the 3 months, it goes to one, I don't know if a billion, billion, I guess 7, 2, 4, 6, 3, 6, 9, 10, a billion. Yeah. It got to 1 billion loans in 3 months. In 3 months. But then yet there was no money in our thing we bank where them people here can't inside. But in 3 months in 2018, from September to December, 10 transactions, 1 billion leones was withdrawn from the presidency office. All na cash withdrawal, and the transaction numbers are there. And how much proof do we need as Leoneans to start asking the questions?
I'm not arguing proof here, because I think, like, it's again, I hope people can get me points very clear. Mr. Chernor is doing a fantastic thing.
Yeah.
I admire him for the courage. I don't get doubt about his credibility, because we have to get enough common sense to assess someone's credibility. Those who are accusing him of being paid, they need to come forward with evidence like Mr. Badi produced. Show we how he was paid. Was he paid cash? Where was he paid this cash? By whom? At what time? At what? So these are ridiculous allegations. These are just attempts to cover up serious allegations. Yeah. All I'm saying is, I'm just simply saying, we cannot say
there are
any
bigger
time
things that bigger corruption.
You see, so we can put them at the list. We can put them at the list, but I'm not. Because we just can't put everything above. I make a cite the example of the shipment. We're talking about millions of dollars worth of iron ore. We're not saying nothing but that. You know, if we talk about, so I'm just simply saying the first 30 amount compared to waiting President Bio and the government might have covered up by not announcing to public, might run us crazy if we know how much millions, maybe billions that one shipment they contained. It's all I'm saying. But then I think it puts too much.
Yeah.
And then we
And
agree.
then
We
did
have to. Now, I was just going to say we have to agree also that Mr. Kelfana Bedo appeared and we showed before. He said he never gets adequate funding for waiting in need for do. When he asks Parliament for X, then we'll get Y. So all of that, why would Parliament, if they're serious about fighting corruption, why wouldn't you give the ACC commissioner what he asked for in terms of funding, so he can hire adequate staffing, get adequate everything that he needs? So you see, this is another thing. He's just doing the best he could, and they have forget the excuse what they accept. What would they confront her about, or would they raise issues about? If we get all the money, then they not do the work, then we can ask and say, well, you be saying you need so much, we'll give you all where you can hire all the people there. Why aren't you doing ABC? But now we get cover. It can say, well, I can't do but so much. This is all I'm saying. So we're going to just look at it.
For the people that are asking for proof with the man is putting the proof, and they put the transaction number. You can't get it any better. They put the transaction number, you put the date where they take home. You can't get any evidence anywhere they call. So it's up to the government now for explain to me. And yes, I agree with you. There are more bigger fish to fry, because even with the press conference where they do for the team, for the iron ore where they ship, it was after the social media, it came out on social media before they had a press conference. They went to Parliament. Parliament don't not even know. And these are the things we talk about. If we love we people, if we love we country, if we love we serve. Professor, do you have hope for Sierra Leone? Do you have hope, say, what thing go come out of all this corruption, or this administration go get away again with corruption, then come back, then say get away, then get out, then left we like how the other one, then don't left we go. We people them suffer, cottage hospital, water no they picking, then they die because unnecessary death. The average average rate for people and for dying at 50 something. When you look, so young people, RIP. There's nothing. You go to our hospitals, the death chambers, and this money after money after money after government after government after government, and they're doing this, and then we have people among us until we heal ourselves, until we fix ourselves. I don't know if I get hope anymore, Professor. La pass on to you. I don't know if I get hope, for real.
Me very short now. Two things get happen now. The Parliament get for step up to the constitutional responsibility of oversight, investigations, and everything. And at the end of that, then the second thing get for happen, a very senior official from the government get for now come and say, in as much as you get all of this in the go, the business of governance continues. So now that get for me. Parliament get from it. You're like how they do now. After all the talk, get everything together. Now we now do the people's work. You guys will now investigate all these things and report back to the citizen. In the meantime, the government get for continue for function. That's it. I'm your contribution on that.
Yeah, the government get for continue for function, and the government get for continue for function, and like how we see, we get in there what they see, what they do, we get in there what they see, but this they overshadow. The quicker you deal with this, the quicker you put onto bed and put onto rest. And we get Mr. Sheila, I don't know if you get more for ad before we go to Mr. Soiree. We get Mr. Soiree in own talk where he talk for this Ibrahim Soiree, the Chief Executive Procurement Officer. One of yes, what he say. But I don't know if you get anything for add to that, because we have to. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
I think you say earlier, some people then they ask, say, why now? Well, everything can forget a starting point. I mean, you can ask the same thing about the corona. I say, well, why now corona? Why 10 years ago? Why corona? I mean, so those are silly questions, because what do you mean? Why not now? And so what's the problem? You get to start somewhere, So if we get there was not a Chernor or Africanus press
We
a
have to
question.
start somewhere. Just like
Yeah,
just like they say this is the first of everything. This is the
yeah.
first. This is the first time they're investigating the for first lady in office. The first lady in office, the case here is the first lady not supposed to get money from the government
From the
impose.
government.
But
Yeah.
according to Mr. Chernor and the Africanist press, they say they get money. But this woman we don't tell we say, oh no, the grand drive for me safe. The chick we all. Fiti.com. He say ignore.com, fiti.com, the Fiti we. Yeah. Because I say now 2009, 2021 now ignore.com, but fiti.com, they give free word. They show no empathy for the people. Yes, they go give party, they go give this, but not to knock her down. Intention might be good, but what's in there behind that stuff there? Is it doing the thing we're supposed to do, or is it for self-gain? That is the question. We have to ask these questions. We get for ask them question because fitia.com, goodness.com, but now we're under investigation for the first time. We don't ever get a president yet, a young lady yet, when now we first lady. But we go come to Mrs. Cassandra Gaba in letter way right to the first lady, in article way right on the first lady and the behavior and how for carry yourself. Because it look like say people them because we all don't talk sometimes no you sometimes we one big mommy we get respect talk sometimes go listen. We go up, you go listen because we are Sierra Leoneans. And this is how I feel. And I am a Sierra Leone. This is my view. And I can say it. We get for have decency and bring back honor to the First Lady's office with the behavior and the free word and the fiti.com and the rudeness.com and the unbroughtup.com. No. We go count to Mrs. Gaba and Yon. But let we go to Mr. Soiree. Mr. Soiree explain this money has to say almost everything where they pass for the government for buy, and he give you a lecture on how in office they work. So let we listen with fairness and open mind, and now we listen to this young man. Let he explain to we how in office they work for all this talk we don't come on a door. Now let we listen to Mr. Soiree quick.
And systems na then different MDA there where the Africanist press done the right. But good morning, Mr. Soiree, Mohamed Soiree, and welcome, Ibrahim Soiree, sorry, and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salone.
Good morning, Asma, and good morning, the people of Sierra Leone.
We don't look at the publications from the Africanist press, in which many of them get for do with procurements and processes, how they purchase some of the things them we talk about. On a whole, how your office take this whole revelation from the Africanist press?
Well, I want to seize the opportunities for say thank you. Thank you to Chernor and thank you to the people of Sierra Leone. I see victory. Victory in the sense, prior to this time, nobody pay attention to procurement or processes and procedure. And if in the bio-led government decide for allow prudency in terms of fiscal management and procurement being one of the hubs and the MPPA being the regulatory body, and would they try for make sure say the people of Sierra Leone really know about processes and procedure. Now would they see Sierra Leoneans in general want to know exactly how the public money is spent, then I will see that day as victory, because not only when we all able to know how we money spent and if they are spent properly, then we get a very good nation, because you can collect all the money on earth for your nation as long as they are not spent properly, then you still go always do say you day. And so it means the news or what would you do don't begin to get the kind of food we want, because that's the reason why we get MPPA hours, now both the TV and the radio stations, And if today we don't begin to see people, they really talk about processes and procedure, what is that bringing to mind? That either people are listening or people don't start to read about what they do. So for me, it's good. It's good for let people begin to talk about processes and procedure. And I go only want for encourage all Sierra Leoneans we want for talk about processes and procedure, for let them know say procurement is a discipline and highly disciplined. So you know, they just feel say where you read, you don't understand, and it's something you do up to PhD level. It's not just about you reading and you assume you don't sabi.
As you say, coming from members of the public and sets of people who just show interest in procurement and procedures where they happen at different government ministries, departments and agencies. But let we look into the ministries, departments and agencies them as well, because not for the first time this way we don't see publications them on people not they really follow procurement policies them, where they supposed for the follow, whether they purchase or they use government money as per law. We don't see year in year out the audit reports they come out. Other people them don't they write, but still people not don't they follow. Waiting at this problem where the NPPSF could don't identify by now, because it not new again for say people still we supposed for the follow na high offices, not the follow procurement procedures. Waiting at the problem.
In the first instance, I want to ask if the people where they follow really they look at the trend. We all know that this country say procurement has been a challenge, or the expenditure arm has been a challenge. Before this government kind of power, yes, that been there all over the place. And now what this government now can 3 years, what is the trend? Are we narrowing the gap? Is the gap still wide? When you watch at audit reports, the things that will frequently be the come up, are they still coming up? Is the regulatory body playing its role like before? Or are they doing things that they've not been doing before? A clear to this nation that, yes, when the BO-led government was campaigning, it talks say the block leakages. And when it gave me the position as chief executive, one of the things we knew, and I knew it was a challenge in the procurement. And a lot of abnormalities been there in terms of pricing. You go see somebody go buy computer in a Ministry of Health, one price, and another person buy now the other ministry different price. When at take over, one of the things I get huge support from the Ministry of Finance, and before ensure say we get uniformity in terms of pricing. I took over in June. This now be the third quarter. This now be the first price norm Whirlpool 2018. I take over and I've been third quarter, and when I take over, this now lay emphasis on I make sure say price norms start become a norm and every MDA staff will follow them. So this price norm now law, and we don't make sure say all MDAs follow them. And in that same 2018, from June to December, we were able to have third quarter price norm and fourth quarter 2018. So why? Because we all know say people they raise concern about prices, the way that they bloat prices. So we put this in place and ensure say they are followed by. And from that time to today, we don't ensure say people follow the price norm.
So when we look at the publication of the Africanist press, just like we Chernor be say 34 billion euros they use that for on procurement and irregular procurement. Some of them revelation they are where they come out where they name the office system and the procurement process system. You office know about them?
Yeah, I want to set some things then straight here. I'm not go to any office. I just want for put things straight as a regulatory institution. When MDAs want for buy, do they come to us seek clearance? Yes. Then they come to we for seek clearance. And when we then seek clearance to we, you get different methods than what they use for the procurement. Yeah, you can do the default method when a open tender, and at the same time, the MPPA get the powers. I just want to read sections of the Act. Section 14.3 of the Act. Subject to Section 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, and 46 of this Act, the authority may endorse and give approval for the use by a procurement committee of a procurement method or methods other than competitive bidding, where the approval requirement of the procurement entity is in the opinion of the authority merits such endorsement and approval. Now, me sitting as chief executive, the law give me the mandate in an event an MDA want for buy any item in this country, and see the level of urgency or not urgency, he writes to me and asks, say, okay, I want to do sole source, I want to do restrictive tender, I want to do open tender, reduce for me instead of 4 weeks, reduce for me for 2 weeks, reduce for me for 3 weeks. I have the mandate and power based on this law for approved. So procurement is not just by open tender. You can do sole source is approved. As long as it comes to my office and we look at the merit of your justifications, if we approve them, it is applied and approved by law.
So in this case, the chief minister in office, where we see the African Express right port, and the state say over 30 billion euros the way they use on procurement, where documents are not able to lay hands on them as to how they will do that procurement. The owner office aware of that procurement, the way the office of the chief minister do?
Some few months in July, the office of the chief minister wrote to me with a minute requesting approvals for various things then. Yeah, I want to just tell you, permanent secretary, office of the chief minister, State House, 30th July, this was my reply. Request for no objection to use restricted bidding for the construction service, purchase of vehicle, replacement of furniture fittings and IT equipment in the office of the chief minister and its IT directorate. This was approved by me. Yeah, and in this same letter, I just want to read down. Based on all the above, MPPA endorses the use of restricted bidding in accordance with Section 41B and 42(2) of the Public Procurement Act 2016. You may ensure that the selected bidder do not share common ownership and that there is no collusion among the bidders also. Above all, due diligence must be paid to prices quoted in the MPPA most recent price norm as well as the prevailing market price. So even when we give them approval, we tie them to a price norm. So every of the purchase will happen within that procurement process was tied to this price norm when about fourth quarter.
So, Mr. Swaye, you make strongly on enforcing the price norms, but when a purchase is there cannot be done, the price is different. So, how you they enforce them price norms there?
That's where most times people don't understand. It's not possible for we give approval to any entity when we realize the commonly used items within our price norm, that price is far above the prices. It's not possible.
You can monitor
everything that comes. We pay attention to prices. I want to be very, very honest here. We pay attention to prices and we look at items by items. So, yes, we not tell you say sometimes if in order now we come with price norm. If in order now price norm, then it becomes a challenge. Then make if you watch every price norm will come out. Every price norm will include other items that will see in a challenge then. It started with third quarter 2018 and up to this 2021. If you watch the first publication we'll do and this publication we'll do now, you find out say from the first publication to this publication now, we don't get more than 100 or 150 new items included in the price now.
So, sir, you think say the Africanist press pull this because they show and documents them where they show the prices where they call where they say now the prices are inflated.
Can we, if we go now to this approval again? Yes, I gave an approval for the purchase of vehicles and IT equipment. In the office of the presidency, there are certain things where, of course, the law give we the mandate for give restrictive or sole source. The law, because it boils around security related issues. Like some of the IT issues we then do, and the minute we come to me was clearly for the office of the president in setting the IT infrastructure. And if then they set the IT infrastructure for the office of the president, of course that is security. I will not allow them to go in an open tender. So when they send up, I read the minute, I saw the justification, I gave the approval. And for the vehicles in question, those vehicles, when they ask we that they want for buy vehicle for the directorate of IT, in we price norm, the proud way they at that time in we price norm is 580 million. This price norm fourth quarter 2018 price norm. Then when you watch at the prices, when look the price now, this is the contract signed. Because when they sign the contract, every contract they sign, they send to us copy of that contract. Yeah. In the prices, when they do shopping, when they ask for this approval, then do window shopping. And then when they do window shopping, their prices, of course, be slightly below the price. Say, for instance, the Prado in question, in our price norm, it's 580 million. In their own total purchase, the price is here now 564,375,000. You can see this is the contract.
So
yeah. So if we don't do a whole market research, we don't bench the price at fair market price is 580 million, and then somebody do a window shopping, then a day slightly above us. Can we approve or not? We can approve. So as far as me know, for the purchase of the said vehicles, yeah, approval was received from the Ministry of Finance, because I saw all these correspondence when they replied to me. When they sent request to me, they sent a letter to the Minister of Finance for funding. The Minister of Finance replied them. I have the copies, and then they had a meeting and agreed on the justifications why they need these items in question.
Then why are you the talk about so they include the 3 Toyota Land Cruisers?
This is the Toyota Land Cruiser we are discussing.
Of the Chief Minister said they buy for DSTI or for the Office of the Chief Minister.
Can I read
which one did they refer to?
Can I read here? Sale agreement made in October. One, yeah, to who? Between Salma Motors, represented by Hassan Mohammed Salim. Is it not Salma that you're discussing? This same Toyota or the Prado where I saw in the report is the same contract that I have here. So I'm talking specific on this contract. And as far as me know, you understand, did they ask for approval? Yes. And do we have the caveat that gives us that mandate? Yes. You go to section 14.3 of the Act, gives me the power for approve if endorse and approve any method where somebody they use if we think as a regulatory body, a day we think. And if this price nominal law, we don't say already, then price is here. We don't do we own general in the shopping, na law. Then somebody want for buy. A request to we say I want buy motorcar direct sourcing, and they will tell you say if you buy direct sourcing, make sure you use the price as a tag. Then the person go out, he go get in the shopping and get below we. Can we approve it? Yes.
So let we look at NPPA saving. The government started inside 2019. You've been inside an interview, but how you save governments from losing 400 billion loans. So waiting you able for save government inside 2020 because we don't go now into 2021 with all the issues there we always they come say come out where they show weakness in the system.
Very soon we're going to see the bulletin come out for the last quarter of 2020, and that bulletin you see how much we protect and prevent government from getting into contracts that are not good. The things we are going to encourage everybody. Sometimes what is happening in Sierra Leone, not only bad news people they spread. We don't get time for even look at the job of others. Look at the institutions the way don't they. I want for just take case in point. For me, MPPA, I took MPPA with just 37 staff. And within that 37 staff, few don't go, skill and unskilled labor. Skill and unskilled. And as I speak now, we are about 112 to 113 to do the job for Sierra Leone. So if you see the wages don't increase, it's not just coming from the Ministry of Finance. Even we at the MDAs, when I took over as chief executive, I cannot run with 37 people. Even with the 100 people, 112 people that I have now, it's still not enough to regulate and monitor procurement across this country. For all people forget efficiency and effectiveness. No, I'm coming. I heard from my brother saying that they give the politicians bloated salaries. Sometimes you criminalize every Sierra Leonean way they work for the people of Sierra Leone. If I'm working as chief executive and I have a lot of tax to do, then say they pay me 20 or 40 or 50 million. Do I really? Am I supposed to have that kind of salary? Do I work for that salary? Why you want to criminalize me salary? And then if you say, now only we they don't get appointment, now we they get them price. No, I don't know what finance, I don't know the amount of people finance don't recruit. I just want to set example for MPPA. I started that institution with 37 staff. Today we are 112.
Right.
And out of that 112, every of those staff are paid from the Ministry of Finance.
So,
it's not from my pocket.
So the NPPA concern with the Africanist press, anytime they publish, they must some Simons they will get for do with processes now procurement we not go the right way according to what they can investigate. You office worry about that?
The only concern I get, I want to let my brother know say it is only the NPPA that has the power to interpret this law. If you go to section 14G, now we get the expertise in, if not to win a court. So I'm not against him doing the investigative journalism, but my door is widely open. At any point in time, he want to talk about processes and procedure in this country. Any MDA, if he gets to a website enable for COT he wants day, let it call me directly. I will respond to him. Let's just give me text, say this is Chernor, I want to investigate this one. I'll give him every detail he wants to know. Because one of the core values of procurement is transparency, fairness, and value for money. So for me, like this publication where he do, I get concerned with him. He's a young man like me. I was expecting like the investigative journalism way they do. You have a regulatory body in this country. Before it gets conclusions, since he knows there's somebody there where they regulate, and I think we don't meet before.
So what you get for do now, because the process is still continue for come up now the investigation the way it do. You get your price norm, your systems now then MDAs there so now one big issue. What you office they do for say indeed all procurement processes go through the right process before procurements are made.
Asma, I want to let people just not look at the downside of procurement process in this country. What are the mileages that we've achieved? You cannot compare the mileages that we achieve now to the downside. Now, every processes, from what this government can and I took over, we do end-to-end review. Why you think we talk about Office of the Chief Minister, Office of the Chief Minister, they due evidences? Because every activity we start, as long as it deal with volume money, yeah, it comes to our office, we review them and ensure.
So it's not only about office of the chief minister, like all other publications where it don't make with regards procurement. You office aware.
We know aware, and that's where I'm asking him if you want for really give the people of Sierra Leone a balanced report about processes and
aware
procedures.
in the sense if you aware of them purchases there, so and if they go through the right procurement.
If you watch at, I want to be specific here. If you watch at the one we may see on the Office of the Chief Minister, 99% are aware.
So what about the one for the Office of the First Lady in purchase of furnitures?
Office of the First Lady. I don't want to dive into that, but I want to tell you say every procurement activity.
Why you not for going
to the First Lady? We go due process, it come to our office.
Including the recent one, then with the Africanist press.
I want to tell you, say every procurement activity will happen at the office of the First Lady. Every procurement activity will happen at the office of the First Lady came to my office. As long as it is above the threshold, came to my office.
All right. Well, we go for the call you. Because of time, we'll go for tap the program for now. The program now, Good Morning Salome. Many thanks to you, Mr. Ibrahim Soare, for.
Okay, without hearing Mr. Ibrahim Soare, now the Chief Executive Procurement Officer, and we don't hear, he don't explain to we, don't explain, but to the end, they ask him, say, if he aware, he say 99% he aware. Then they ask him about the Office of the First Lady. He say no one go there, but then he come back again. He say he aware of every spending. So now the voice of the government then they would hear he. And one thing I know, Mr. Chernor, this interview we didn't do so. Mr. Chernor was the previous before the interview. Mr. Soare, Mr. Chernor was there, and Mr. Chernor say they don't offer people them if they want. They don't call them. When they say they're not check with people, then call them. Some people they not agree for talk to them. Some people they not agree for come for do the interview. Only a few people then come for do the interview. And even they don't offer if anti-corruption need help for go after waiting and say verify what he's saying for let them show they help them. Then they're waiting and call. But in here, like we say, we get the SPO now the SPO. Spawn at the military means like the support operational office. Support, kind of where you want to buy something, where you want to do something in like training and whatever, you get for go through the sport for let them bring and come to you. And everything is recorded. Everything is on the computer. This is why we say we get for and can to computer system. Because when you file everything on computer system, you don't even have to ask. Then TRA they ask for approval. So the army here, the armed forces here, they have contractors that have bid, they don't bid for jobs there. So when you want to buy something, you go to the contractors, they already don't know the price, they already don't know how much it costs. So you not get for all you need to do is sign paperwork, then supply you the stuff. But when cash begin flow and cash begin involved, when we want to buy stuff out of the economy, we get what they call impact credit card. That credit card they like emergency, you're not able to wait for the people them where they come for can supply you. You want to buy a right away, it's emergency. You can go to the local economy and buy as long as you receipt states. And just like how Professor been not making in previous audio there, whatever, and what we don't talk before, them thing then they if you use 1 cent out of them credit card, then they went to government business. You they go jail. You go jail for that because they can track every penny. Every penny they electronics. Every penny is electronics. This man say 99%. So the 1% have that crack. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect system. So you go in hesitation in the end to some of the thing he cautioned himself. And he said the man is a young man, he willing for work with and I wish the Afrikaners Nice press go reach out and make them give a second chance or una reach out to them, let una work together, let we able for do salon business because this is Sierra Leone business. This is about the money of the livelihood of the people of Sierra Leone. Now the people of Sierra Leone. How long we go dip and pull? How long we go dip and bigger? How long we not going able to team up for reserve? How long, Mr. Shilo? Mr. Soiree, a young man full of enthusiasm and love for a job where they do. But then Mr. Chernor make another accusation. He say some of the people inside the government not even know what in the other side of the government is doing. So I just Ibra no more for Iban's sake. Go ahead, sir. What
Yes,
you
ma'am.
get from all what you know?
I think, say, this is a healthy sign. The fact that Mr. Soiree come forward and try for defend will not necessarily get for agree with and just the willingness to come forward. To me, it's a step in the right direction. So now, Mr. Soiree point out a lot of things. He referred to what you call the price norm, then get this pamphlet or catalog. We get certain prices of certain things the government might need, and anybody we want something we get for supply the government anything they order for the not for exceed that. The basic problem as I see now, there is a serious loophole in the office of purchasing or procurement, because then give Mr. Soiree the power for waive certain requirements strictly based on your discretion. So if you see where it talks to the office of the president of the chief minister asks for waiver, the office of the chief minister not state reason why the waiver was necessary. He just requests a waiver. And then Mr. Soiree said, since he involves the president's office, it's always a matter of national security, which is not necessarily so. Not all matters involving the president for renovate and decorate or upgrade equipment in the president's office in and of itself, not to a matter of national emergency. That will not, but even under circumstances such as a national emergency, they should be able to give a reason why a waiver is necessary. And the reason for be cogent, if for be persuasive, if for be convincing, because otherwise then just put in a loophole. And in fact, to be honest with you, looking at all this, therefore do competitive bidding for almost everything, with a few exceptions. And then if the Mr. Soare offers the grant a waiver, he too must give a reason in writing why he accepted the waiver than simply for say I approve the request. Because these are some of the weaknesses of the law as it is. So Mr. Soare, the claim now say, I know a volunteer, I do work within the law. He says something, this now will catch my attention. He said that them are the only people we
They interpret. Yes,
the
that's a
regulation.
danger one too. I heard that.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think the final arbiter of their regulations, and again, this is what I think the courts are for, and the courts have been pushed to the side. You get groups, them, public interest groups that should challenge these laws if they are not being changed, and let the courts interpret that. Because you see, regulations, laws, ordinances, statutes, that's why we have courts. So Mr. Soare, definitely, without a doubt, he's an expert in that area there, because the area anyway control. So he know a lot of the laws and the rules and the regulations. And probably at times, people from the outside go misinterpret certain things, because sometimes the reading of regulations and laws are not on face value what you might think they imply. I understand all of that. But here we are trying to get things to work for the better, not to get things to work for the worse. So in that sense, I think Mr. Soare, I am not so sure, I'm not sure I agree with him that they are the only people who can interpret. There are people with average degree of understanding of rules and regulations who can read those same regulations and be able to interpret them as well. Now, the danger of what Mr. Soare also talk, you see, law involves a lot about interpretation and understanding and comprehension. So if some of the laws that Mr. Soare talk about, or the rules them, if they're subject to multiple interpretation, then he cannot hold himself out for say only they can interpret it. Not if someone can extrapolate or someone can get out of the same regulation a different understanding. And also if there is vagueness, more than one understanding of that rule day, then it also creates a basis for corruption. So, but I applaud Mr. Soare because, you know, the job is not easy of any government. I like accountability. So we should be proud that we have, and if you notice, condemn Mr. Chernor, badmouth him, say what he published wrong.
Yeah.
See, in go under the guise of interpretation, implying that Mr. Chernor may be misinterpreting the law, dispute, take issue, do any of that. Because again, going back to Mr. Chernor, you can tell by his writing, he's a highly skilled, highly responsible journalist. So we can't be just discounting people like that one and they with frivolous allegations such as he's been paid, opposition leader, or the opposition don't pay him. That doesn't do us good. Again, let people understand. Some of we're only talking about all these things because of what we want Sierra Leone for rise up to the level that it should have long been. That's all we are saying. So we not to do yourself any good, as Ms. Fadima say, where if you're an SAPP supporter, you can see no wrong, you can hear no evil. See no evil, hear no evil. If you're an APC supporter, somebody challenged me once upon a time at this show or expressed some disagreement with me where I reference, I say, well, we know about, by observation, whether the outgoing president was a rich man. And a lot of public opinion would tell you that he was not perceived as a very rich man before he became president. Then after in presidency, all of a sudden, it's a multi-millionaire. And somebody call and say, oh, Mr. Shillon, I'm surprised at you say that. Well, I don't know why he was surprised at me, because there's a thing called common sense. You don't leave your common sense behind,
Yeah.
I mean, I even give an example that the former president used to live in a one flat house. Now, we understand the society where we come out. If you can afford 2-story house, they build 1 story. You go build 2-story. Now, that society, they will come out. Okay? The only reason why a man go, and I be young man, not for saying an old man, where go say, he will claim steps. Okay, but now 1 flat house, and God bless him, at least he had a house. But when the house, they become a almost $7 million house after he be president, they broke him and built him and about $7 million. And nobody not see Paul about that. Is that how we want to analyze it? So if you're an APC supporter, you can't see any wrong way APC person doing an SAPP supporter, you can't see any wrong. If you come up from the north, you can't see any wrong way not and do. I mean, if we engage in that kind of thinking mentality there, all we are doing, we are hurting ourselves, and we are destroying the foundation of the country upon which we will build for the succeeding generation. That's all I'm saying. The sooner we begin to realize that we are number one Sierra Leoneans, and then everything else is secondary. It no matter the school where you go, whether you go Methodist Boys High School, you go Boys School, it doesn't matter. You hold yourself out as being someone capable for a whole position enough for help run the country. So when you're given that position, you must be held to the highest level of accountability and competence. There should be, we should not hold you people lightly. We should hold on our foot to the fire. So I want level brother and sister to begin to understand. This is not a matter of SAPP, APC. It just so happened that SAPP then a power now. So now SAPP for criticize. There is no point going talking about what the APC spent 5 years ago. You not to do anything now. But what the APC do 5 years ago, if SAPP to do it now, and we notice that, we for criticize them and stop. And I don't necessarily what APC to do it was right. But we'll try to accord on to it. You see, this is what people know for. Like I give an example. If with 6 days speed at the highway, then 4 people, the police not stop, then you the 5th person. You can't say, oh, well, why you don't stop the other one there? It's irrelevant. Are you the case? Now you
wrong.
It's wrong. You no matter
wrong
when.
It's wrong. Yes,
we
no
need
matter when. Wrong is wrong. Yes.
For them to change the way we see things, then we'll go really and deal with things properly. Because, for example, when salary is low for teachers, and coupled with the fact that teachers are not paid, there is no evidence that other than a Minde teachers them are getting more money than Timini or Limba teachers. It's across the board. Teachers are not being paid and they are being underpaid. So don't go into this tribalistic thing, because these politicians don't care about that. Now when I think say the tribe where they come out matter, they don't look at the rest of the population that way. Then they look at it strictly from profitability personally. And the sooner we begin to understand that, for example, I think we'll bring Madam Fadima bring out the issue of the president in nutrition is being paid than professors, this and that. Well, again, first of all, we need to determine. That's why all these other offices exist. Is the nutritionist of the president a civil servant? Is this subject to the rules and regulations of the Civil Service Commission? I don't know. Is the driver of the president, Is he a civil servant? So if so, why is he not paid within the range of the civil service range? Why is he being paid extraordinarily just because he drives the president or he prepares a menu for the president? These are all.
According to I think we gotta get a refund from that nutritionist because she's not doing a good job. I'm sorry. Just a thought. I got for Ibandea. Sorry, she's not doing a good job for the president. That nutritionist
Well,
get for be changed because it's not showing
well,
as a healthy diet for the
I
president.
see where you're
Yeah,
coming from
because they're
because
paying them more than the
the
professor. You
president
get
seems
for
like
be on top
it
of
don't
your
gain a
game.
little bit
Yes,
since he kind of power,
yeah,
you
but
know.
yeah, but she gets 20
So,
million according to Africanist press, while the professor get less than that. Where they try for
that should
build the
not happen.
future of
That should
tomorrow.
never
The
happen. That
cameraman
should
gets the same money. Why? I mean, we need a refund. We for begin ask for a refund from the thing.
Oh,
I
no,
mean,
we need
something to make you laugh. But
restructuring.
then,
We need restructuring of the system. Really, we need to restructure the
yes,
system. And
yeah, but professor,
there should never be an
yes, sir.
instance in which a teacher at the end of the month, or in which nobody works at the end of the month and doesn't expect to be paid. How do they expect you to survive? So first of all, the first step of responsibility is that we should try to make sure, say, nobody goes unpaid at the end of the month. Then we begin to deal with
Well,
salary structure. Yeah, that's
yeah,
it.
true. Okay, Professor, come into this conversation. We don't give Mr. Sware. Young
One,
man, I mean, so Mr. Shillon point out some points, then one of the point and say, and not attack Chernor, but is speak on the issues. But we get a lot of people on social media going at each other, calling people names, calling all kind of stuff when why you're waiting person they tell you, or why you're waiting the person they say this is my truth, listen to my story, listen to my truth, look at the evidence here. Professor, go ahead, sir, and what do you get for say for that?
we don't talk all of the problems them, and we'll continue for talk. The fundamental question again now, where do we go from here? Again, I'll go back.
Mhm.
As long as the country now take a deep breath and talk, say, you see this constitution will get so, this nine are the albatrosses around with neck. This constitution might not be the breeding ground for waiting to become institutionalized corruption. As long as we not change and forget a kind of document where they hold everybody accountable, from the president to the Omolanke driver, who the SLPP, one way or the other, 5 or 10 years and get for war out of office, either by fate or by design. But as long as not this same constitution, wait America people them do, they know they may get the cognitive intelligence or ability or the foresight for no say, you get all we mortal man, get a lot of crooked people them will come, human frailties. So what they do, they don't put emphasis on the individual, either your personal integrity, your principle. No. You can be the most dishonest person in America for whole office. Anybody can hold office there. You don't get for go talk say that I the most honest, but no. They know they look that. Waiting again, then get guard rates. If anybody not believe, go ask the 35th president of the United States, Richard Nixon, go ask him. Richard Nixon was nowhere close to 2600 Virginia Avenue. You know, be in that place. Now the Watergate complex, you know, be needed. But guess what? At the end of the day, the man will sit down at the Oval Office, now he lost his job. Because once he inside the Oval Office, now 1600 Pennsylvania, in a direct crime against United States, now he lost his job. Why that happened? Because of the rule of law. When the ethical foundation and the moral compass, when the glue, we hold this country. If you don't believe again, now go ask Mr. Trump, wait meter. You tell me when they not get a cabinet minister gonna, they don't go take her from office, it is handcuff, they sentence and they tell we. Why this not go happen? Because we live in a society where the human beings that they pass the law and they pass the law. Any society we not subject itself to the dictates of the law, because then the only thing America in exceptionalism what they talk about in global affairs All they say, not to the White House or that new car where they build for the president or Air Force One. No. Now that document when me signed in Pennsylvania over 200 years ago, 30 days, 90 days, that the foundation that. So the waiting we need for us to say, well, hey, we want to continue this lifestyle. Every now and then we get commission of inquiry. Every now and then when you put somewhere and they make a book level more service, they could not get that to go like no. We need to forget the structure. That make us say, Naya, you don't need to be honest for whole office. You don't have to that you honesty in take that for you. Waiting America people they do then they get structures. They get a rock of Gibraltar where they set your way. Where there's no way we're going to pass any through dishonesty. There's no way. So that night go be my own contribution there. We need to forget laws where everybody go submit to. Then we'll begin see
Yeah.
yourself out of the quagmire. So now my own
Yeah.
contribution that.
Thank you. The laws don't work. The laws are there. The guardrails are there. But we bypass the the rails. We do the things that we should not do. We country for 60 years. But look, we come to Mrs. Cassandra Gaba. Who that's
Oh
now
good.
Mrs. Cassandra Gaba?
That's what I was
Mrs.
waiting for.
Cassandra Gaba na of older lady we na Sierra Leonean. And Mrs. Cassandra Gaba don't tire with we first lady in utterance and all the demeanor and the language of we first lady. So Mrs. Cassandra Gaba, now the president of KDY Creole Descendants Association, now former principal na Freetown Secondary School for girls for years and years and years. She's an educator. Them people, them good women of Sierra Leone, they don't pass under a hand as mentor. She is a mother of I think 3 or 4 children, doctors, architects, and all that stuff. A very good woman in a society, very, 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 very respectable woman. I don't see say we get a first lady where they confuse some issues, and we people themselves, we self they confuse. There is a difference between a strong, confident lady and rudeness. You can be confident, you can be strong, you can know what you want, but there is a poise you for carry as a lady, as a woman. When we all been small, we all been don't do all kind of rubbish thing. But as you grow, as age grow, and as you get position and responsibility, when we begin born picking them something and they as young lady, for do I again because people are watching, the world is watching. And Mrs. Fatima Bio get fortunate for married to we president what we vote for. But from the campaign, we see a woman, a young, vibrant woman where everybody was, most people, I'm not going to say everybody, was happy for. As a woman, we should be happy because we see a strong woman front and center the campaign for a husband. But then once the husband came into office, Madam Fatima Bio became something else. Some people and they say, Ebo, make ya una the jealous Sam, una want for be like him. Nobody wants to be like that. Nobody wants for be a person where all 10 jama they cook for. Because with people like he say, when you cook for people and for eat, then go eat. But if jama cook for you, if people then gather for you, if one person they complain, 2 person they complain, 3 person they complain about the narcissistic behavior, about the rudeness, about the way you talk, because our life and death comes from the tongue. We life and death comes from with tongue. What would they say? Then mommy say good word, nine pool cola. So Mrs. Cassandra Gaba decide for write a letter and call on every Sierra Leonean organization, when a women's organization, for come out and puts this first lady and condemn the way where it they do and try for help for let it get her himself. Because not only we they watch Mrs. Bio, international world they watch Mrs. Bio. And we know say recently by this corruption scandal we come. He puts himself in a bind because he's still not able for controlling self, because self-control is everything in life. Not that you're afraid. There are sometimes you have to stand, but there are sometimes you withdraw, and not that you're afraid, but you get for withdraw because you hold the position and everybody is looking up to you. But some people go cheer on because the world don't change. Some people, fiti.com, goodness.com, umbrotop.com, not a cup of tea. You know, some people with decent in our society, they look and say, that is not the way. And this is her letter to we First Lady. He said the standard of demeanor and language of Sierra Leone's First Lady. Our beloved country clocks 60 years of political independence this year, 2021. Thanks to the mercy of His Almighty, it is a blessing to be one of the few female senior citizens to be alive. Mrs. Gaba, I think almost 90 years old, maybe 80 something, 85, 86. Because I know say he celebrated 80th birthday. And this woman, when she celebrated her 80th birthday, in street way day, in street collegiate school road way day, in streets na Freetown, he tell him picking them, he say, I once let una make that road day. Because the road was full of pothole and stuff. That is what she gave back to society. He say, it's a blessing to be one of the female senior citizens to be alive. I honor my responsibility as a citizen of Sierra Leone. The state has likewise recognized my contributions and has twice awarded me national honors. So it don't win award them, na Freetown. Presidents them, two presidents them, they don't get award for in distinction and the way where they do and the work where they do for Sierra Leone. I therefore regard it as a national obligation to voice my disappointment and displease at the new and displease
Okay.
at the new and repulsive habits of exchange cursing language on social media platforms, especially at the level of the country's leadership. Mr. Shillong, continue with that. Globally.
Okay.
Go to the second paragraph.
Globally, the spouse of the head of state is instinctively afforded respect and courtesies by all nationals and non-nationals within a country. Correspondingly, that spouse is expected to exhibit the highest code of conduct. I can state categorically that ever since we gained republic status in 1971, all former first ladies, including Mama Rebecca Stevens, Hannah Momo, Patricia Tijankaba,
All of blessed memories.
of blessed memory, and Sia Kuruma behaved with the dignity expected of their position. I therefore lament the present scenario in which Sierra Leone has a first lady whose general approach is unbecoming and whose language is very often not only offensive but also unprintable. And she has in parentheses by acceptable decent standard. I recently became aware of verbal tirades conducted by the First Lady. By the First Lady. Sadly, she appears to be to relish taking on citizens, taking on citizens the practice of retort and exchanging on pleasantries. By the First Lady has. Sorry about that because my words here are so small.
Yeah.
The print are so
Has
small.
now become
And exchanging on pleasantries by the First Lady has now become quite commonplace. In addition, she seems to revel in the use of filthy expressions. A description of the proposed punishment for rapists will go down in the history of our very own project, Hands Off Our Girls. It is a pity that people in the corridors of power do not perceive this behavior as undermining the country's level of international respectability. I lived through the dawning of independence and witnessed the elegance, eloquence of first ladies of Sierra Leone and other countries in West Africa and sub-region. I cannot help but recall the outstanding wife of the late Ivory Coast President Felix Houphouët-Boigny, Maria Theresa, a fittingly pioneer first lady. She married in 1951 at the tender age of 21. An inexperienced debutante, she went on to perform her state duties so magnificently that she was dubbed by the White House in 1962 Africa's Jackie Kennedy.
Jackie Kennedy.
Another first lady, equally young and inexperienced, Jammeh Jawara of the Gambia, maintained the remarkable standards expected of her position. From the legacies of these women, it is clear that age is not the determinant of good performance. It is time the various strata of women's forum in our country addressed the negative utterances of our First Lady. Her elevated position in the community demands exemplary behavior to all ranks and levels of our citizens. With the customary display of pride shown by our representative, ex-People's Association, I do hope our alum co-members will take this as a wake-up call to rescue the reputation of the alma mater.
Of their alma mater. That's not for we, the convent girl them. He said then convent girl them because FSSG, Fijians play on, as Mrs. Beyonce in a convent to go. So we get for stand up to the plate. That's what she's saying. For let we able for do an kind of like a thing for help him out, for make he tone down in voice and tone down, not that they want to silence her, but for tone down in what's it called. The first lady had abundant energy for directing her many projects. We welcome a change in her behavior and approach. You see, it get very, very good idea them, but her tone and approach, this is what we've been to talk all this time. We've been to talk about Mrs. Fatima Bio, then he copyright and he call Mrs. Gaba, he say Canon, Cassandra Gaba, GOR, JPMR, February 2021, and he address to the campaign for good governance, presidents 50-50 organization, Center for Public Enlightenment and Dialogue for Peaceful Conference, Sierra Leone Association of University Women, Zonta International Business and Professional Women of Freetown, Sierra Leone Mothers Union, Sierra Leone Muslim Women's Network, Women's Network, and then the Women's Network of the Methodist Church of Sierra Leone, and the President Sopranis International in Freetown. So all them people, and they, we love Mrs. Bio, we love the energy, but we mot nine they make we, nine they break we mot nine they bless we, nine they curse we. There is a way to say it. There is a way to say things. Them are making say good talk na impul cola. And this woman that has spoken, because not to say that she's a Creole woman, not to show that she knows how to behave, but she is a distinguished woman of the thing. Not that Creole them better past countryman, but she is a distinguished. I'm not going to the Creole side because I hear some people them on social media they talk about, but you are then Creole them feel say them better past countryman. No, she's not thinking she's radical, but then they try for do an intervention for down the. She's a young woman. It gets a long way for go. But the way she carries herself, the way she speaks, she has to tone down and speak with a woman with confidence, like I always say, you get great ideas, great things for do, you know, because for do, but the way she talks, the way she do things, the way she puts herself, the way it come, and not they come out right, you know, and not they come out and no cobra, because maybe don't ask who say Mrs. Bio Mama Day, who say Fatima Bio Mama Day, because if not me picking what I've been born, I'm 57, gonna be 58. When we be young, we don't do crazy things because we are hurting, we were this, we were that, we were stupid. Okay. But when you get to certain level, when you do things, you think of your parents, you think of the name. Say, if I do this, my mama go die with shame. There are things we don't do. There are things, and I don't say the society now, we get a lot of broken children. We get a lot of broken things where things say this kind of language is okay, this kind of behavior, and we see people are praising her while then they dig the own for and for life for the inside it. She's a strong woman. No, nothing about that. No dispute about that. She's a confident woman. But hey, you get for tone down. This is a mother of Sierra Leone, don't speak. A great woman, don't speak. Will she listen? Will she take a yield to this? Will she take heed to this? This is a good advice, because if you take you, if you're not able to control you picking a house, neighbor long term, neighbor they control you. By the time when you reach now, then go don't deal with you. That way you go like complain to your mama back, then deal with you back. Say what you been they do not it long time. But now fiti.com, goodness.com, unbroughtup.com, mamicos.com, badword.com. Now then we mot them and we picking them mot them. You know, it is a shame and it is sad. But I hope she takes heed to this, and I hope she listens, because she got a long way to go. She just turned 40. But she takes the power away and the respect away and the dignity away from her husband, from we the people of Sierra Leone, and from we country by the way she speaks. Now she's a joke all over the West Africa. Comedians are making joke of her. Comedians are talking about her. And it's a shame. And she needs to tone down for real. So, Professor, I give you first the floor. Then I'll bring Mr. Shilon.
Well, me not the I not even waste the time for talk about Fatima. I'm not going to waste my what I do. I want to use this occasion for talk about when you talk about Mrs. Cassandra Gaba, you talk about people like Letty Strat, Salabi Asilukan, you talk about Mrs. Latilewa Hyde Foster, you talk about Mrs. Collier, you talk about Mrs. Hannah Benkakoka, you talk of course Miss Disward now and watch I mean convent in order to
Convent.
these convent, yeah. These are the woman who them or Mrs. Max Baylor, Ada Max Baylor,
Yeah.
as well as Mrs. Michael Callon, Michael Callon.
Yeah, Afford.
When you have when this mommy talk, I can tell you that for them people in there that they talk for. Now, when I read in paper, I make a special, that day I devote me broadcast to him. Luckily, Ipikin was so, he was so full of art in Kama. One of Ipikin and I be named Manilos Gabana for big college. The one that we go for big college. In London, the mommy come from a very distinguished family. They get highly successful people. Them they say not to play. So when a mommy like this can't talk, mommy like this, we can't talk. The nation for tell God thank you, we get people like them kind around. We for tell God thank you, get people like them. We get the moral compass and we get the ethical foundation. We able muster the courage of conviction and fortitude for call the issue as a CM. It's not get anything for do tribal business. Not get for do anything about tribal. Mrs. Cassandra Gaba now really a woman. Then if I get for other than mommy top, we eventually end up the operation for school as principal. This so something like this where this mommy look at the hope is what you don't do na a lifeline now you don't give President Bio na a lifeline face saving way that you don't give President Bio. You know what though? You need to forget this woman at the Igbale. Don't talk. Yes, na him na the first lady. But there are certain things just like what the mommy put under where because of the office where you hold, you simply cannot do it. You simply cannot. In fact, in most cases, the office of first lady, they afraid them more and they respect them more even about the leader. Mr. Trump might be everything, but nobody don't care no sense go to him with nobody. Because the way the woman carry himself. Mama Bush, the big mommy, the big part, George Bush in daddy, the mommy was the mother of this nation. The respect where they get for that mommy. What you may do, na pikine the little, he want help, come illiteracy in the. You can take a small point, even Michelle Obama, what you do? He want work on obesity. He begin encourage, say, well, don't make gardening, don't make this other. And most of the things they when and get state functioning and they use. Mrs. Fatima Bio for try get yes, you're doing a good, but the thing what you know happen, the negative aspect of what you do now not overshadow everything what they do. The hope now is this that a lifeline where they not sent to President Bio, so that they see if he can sit down with Sumaya, let they see waiting happen, so that the office of First Lady go return to that kind of. One day, as I wrap up, I pay tribute to Mrs. Rebecca Stevens. When I don't put all the ladies in together, everybody knows say me not the APC and most of the people are not even care for it. But this line I call intellectual honesty. Mrs. Rebecca Stevens, that one of the mammy in that way, anybody go glad for them. She was extremely simple, be very humble. Every time when me run into Mrs. Stevens, that service choir and Kissy Road, that in one day they sit on that car and they can go, they go to Mama Smith. You only by who side there, Raman, they prison. That man be in that right as Mama Smith. That they go.
Right there, that
They
junction,
get
Savage Choir and Kissy
now that
Road.
junction exactly. Service choir and Kissy Road.
Kissy Road.
Now that man they go, they sit on the pardon of the driver. And the only reason they go because a man in private car they can go SP1. And I see another initial with the pan car or other than that mommy not the only thing go see if official function they go with your husband. So that the mommy that way how they call them, he come at the office with grace and he commoded with grace. Now they care about it. So the hope is like they say, let Mrs. Bio learn from this. When see the mommy, they can people one day they know they talk. One day they know they talk. When see this mommy now they put will say water don't pass a gari or flour, whatever it is. So the hope is Mrs. Bio will tell God thank you. They're not sending a line to them. Let it carry inside so that respect again and go put her back on that office day. So now me on this, now me on contribution. I tell God thank you. We at least every way in to talk about this family. So now me on contribution on that.
Yeah, somebody say you forget Florence Dillsworth. No, he called Miss Dillsworth.
No, I
Florence
call
Dillsworth.
them.
I'm not gonna sit there. They Miss Estophy,
No,
they
I
Miss
call them.
Principal. Be thou faithful.
Yeah, I
Oh
call
yeah.
them. Na
Somebody they
convent.
say you need Miss Florence, and then somebody else put one school na Bo QRS bar. I don't see again.
Okay, then
Something
na
about
sister
Bo.
boss. No, well, sister boss. I be Sabidi woman
Yeah,
anyway. I'm not.
everybody they call for in school, they call for them good old days.
Well,
These
no, not
people
for do
that
so. No,
yeah,
well, it's true. It's true, but these people are very
yeah,
iconic people. They are very iconic people. Seriously, not to forsake the other
yeah,
principle,
yeah,
they were not okay. They were okay, but when you talk of it, you talk about Latilewa Hyde Foster. Everybody knew who Mama Foster was. Everybody knew. Hannah
yeah.
Benkakoka. They even get a street
Okay.
name after Hannah Benkakoka. So these are the things that they talk about. So, but in any case, not to disrespect to all the other principal, them they all now the same advisory mamigi now on the all behalf now it talk. The trust of the argument left Fatima Abiu they may capitalize on it. We are big now all
That's
if I
right.
not call na
Yeah.
principal them, but they will actually be no where I see them in action. I see them in action. So now that man, I pass it back to you.
Thank you so much, Professor, Mr. Shilon. Sir, what do you get for ad for this woman? Don't give with first lady advice. You don't, when they can say where you still there on drugs, they can get at the family, then do an intervention for try for saving life, may killing himself by drugs. Sometimes they can take the person has to want it and the person has to be ready. Will she receive this advice and this letter and this call for change of behavior? Will she receive it well? Will she receive it well? Will she receive it well? That is the question. Because when you want to change, you get for want it. If you don't want it, if you don't see it, if you don't believe in it, because Mrs. Bio made a statement one time, and I don't play that audio then I have for them. He said, when you're ready for talk, ain't just they talk away ready for do something, ain't not care waiting the consequence later go happen, but ain't go face the consequence, but waiting it one talk that moment they ain't get for talk 'em. And I be don't play in interview where then do it where he make that comment there, and I was like, that is dangerous. That is very dangerous. We are all individuals. We can do what we do, but there are some times not what we want for do, but what we ought to do. That is what we do. That is what freedom is. What we ought to do, not what we want for do all the time. Sometimes what are we ought to do now? They do not what we want for do. Go to you, Mr. Shilon.
Well, Mami Gaba is as good as they come. And so one will have to fully appreciate who she is, who she has always been, forget the essence of which it talk about. And I hope the one day if they criticize the Mami, then fail for grab the essence of which they talk about. Because I think this is as good an advice as possible. And wait till me read Mami Gaba and think in a subtle way, by implication. He also, to some extent, indicts all the groups that they were named at the bottom. At the same time, encourage them, say, this nothing una for do, if una not do, and please, una try for talk to we First Lady because una na women's groups. So, and I agree with Mami Gaba wholeheartedly, without a doubt. You know, and this, as we can see, anybody will get any degree or any level of comprehension cannot see anything offensive about what he writes. To me, it's advisory, is in an advisory capacity. It's like an advice, which the First Lady should have been getting or should be getting anyway. For say, well, no, Madam First Lady, we know how you feel. But you can say things, and things the way the commander you might should be said a certain way. Things the way you do should be done a certain way. There's a certain degree of protocol that goes with the office that you hold. There's a degree of respectability that goes with that office where you hold. Not to everything where you think, you go say, and you react to. Sometimes, even when things are said about you that may not be true, your response should be measured, should be deliberate, should be calculated. That's all Mami Gaba is saying here. So the young lady, the First Lady, I didn't even know she was 40. I mean, she's still extremely young, extremely young. So she has a lot to learn. And I will hope she will heed the advice of Mami Gaba Dogi and follow that. And I will hope other people then, because you see, this idea, because we are also beginning to get retrained, because we just don't like people saying things about people we care about, things negatively, and we tend to take it personally. So we have that with a trained mind for saying, no, not to every time where you disagree or you say something or you criticize somebody, you get anything personally against the person, you know? So I hope people will understand. And anybody will want to take that talk, the letter here and there. Of course, tribalism, as I always condemn it, is the most ridiculous, nonsensical. In fact, I consider tribalism as a diversionary tactic and a short-sighted approach to anything. Because in no circumstance will tribalism achieve anything positive for any country. In fact, what tribalism does, it holds us down. It suppresses our ability as a people. If we put if we put together what we get in common and see us as one, we will make tremendous strides. So for brothers and sisters in Wayland book, and there, me even understand say there are some uh, organizations full of so-called intellectuals who believe you have to belong to a certain tribe to be a member. I will advise these people to look again because that such thinking is not only detrimental to the future of a country, those are the things that are holding us back. No one tribe can run the country. We are all in this together. Now God put we all under the one umbrella. So one group not go begin say you not belong, you for there under the rain and this and that. Now because I will forget the big portion of the umbrella. So basically, I think if the first lady get good people around them, and therefore advise them, say, hey, don't take this the wrong way. This is a highly, highly, highly respectable mommy, and she's trying to be as objective as she can out of national pride, because we say the office where you hold as a first lady calls for a certain conduct, certain pattern of behavior. We say, like for us, if that would make the first lady feel any better, we just kick a president out. Now, America, yeah, where nobody understands saying a president, he thinks saying a street boy, he can just say and do things the way he wants. And we chastise him for that, for say, listen, you're not president. You can't use vulgarity. You can't do this. You can't do that. But since you don't understand, we'll run him out. Because he thinks say, he can do both. He can be ordinary citizen and be president. No. That office called for a certain conduct of behavior. That's all. And the First Lady is an extension of the presidency. So please, Madam First Lady, don't take it personally. Heed the advice of Mamigaba. It will do you good down the line. One final thing. Nobody is suggesting, you're only 40 years old. Nobody is suggesting that you act like Mami Rebecca Stevens as she used to. Times have changed. This is a different era. So society has come a long way, you know. So you are the lady of the moment. So that is understandable, you know. But so you therefore act in ways befitting of the current circumstance as a first lady. That's all it is.
Yeah. The conversation they continue at the thread here and at the social media, yeah, because I they look something and I just want to go much small. Salon Force, they say, Asi Bangura, you didn't see what I am just seeing. Sierra Leoneans have treated Creole people separately like they are better than all other tribes in the
How would
country.
you address that? That's a waste of energy.
Yes, I mean,
Because you know,
This is nonsense.
that is not
Creole
even
and
worth
non
it.
Yeah,
Watching Creole
yeah,
get for
yeah.
it
And this
just
is
then say
what
Mami Gaba na Creole, but it's not gonna for do try.
this is what we get on social media, the conversation them. That's why we they
Well,
talk on them.
let's
I mean,
educate them.
Creole people
Now we
them,
come for educate them.
yes, Creole people them. Now the minority right now, they're not boku where they're not free tongue. Now then the slave them, then be bring them, can they return them from the is it Cameroon, not Cameroon, the how they call the place seven from America. They bought
Nova
Freetown for
Scotia.
the Creoles. Freetown was bought for the Creoles. Where they come, they return slave, where they don't get all now West Africa, where they be carried and go now them plantation. Then bring them back. But when they came back, them people then they been done lost the African culture. Then we don't go there for years and years and years and born picking, then they some them born there, then come with the waitsman, the waitsman
Language.
way of behaving. They came
Mhm.
with education, then come with boku boku thing them where make them look sophisticated. And the native then webbing then a free tongue. Freetown was the worst land where they sell, but then develop them for them Creole them, then go school and land book. And the Creoles were picking them from upline. Can't educate them a Freetown. Creoles are not bad people. Creole then are good people. It just be say then conservative a little bit because they be done there with the white man them. That's what Creole is. But when you don't know them, you look from the outside, you feel say Creole. Sometimes they're not going to mix with what other people and they do because it is not their standard, because everything has a standard, whatever level. Things that some people will do, you look at it, you snub it, say, I am not going to go down there. I will talk to you, I will tell you I do, but I'm not going to go socialize with you. Because there's a standard where them be don't instill in them from the time of the slave days where they come. So Creole not to make like them better. And we all know say long term. And even now say because after the war when people came, they sent them back for let them go try for rehabilitate them. They all came back to Freetown, then come to the city. Sierra Leone, inside Sierra Leone, the diaspora like America, nine a Freetown for Salone people them. Because all they want they were the upline, but could they gonna win out for Camp Freetown? That's why the city is overcrowded. Nobody want to go back. Freetown is like coming to America, or going to London, or going to Canada, Australia, whatever in the diaspora where we all don't spend with them. So that's how they see it. But Creole people, Creole people, then they misinterpret the Creole people. Yes, they have conservativeness because now white people them. We na Marabu Creole, me na Muslim Creole, me na Frobe Pikin. But we young people they married. The Creoles married more Shabro women. Shabros. Now they know the Creole them because the Shabro them be the land book. So you get forgets to the people. So the story go come go offend people that we go can tell the story. Let people that know. Let people that know say Salone now we all get them. Now we all get them. And what in do they say Creole man not for buy us upline, not for buy land upline. They make a day because the white people them and the people and the chief they agree say, okay, then Creole, they don't call land book, they don't overpower, they don't want let them go take over the upline. Now I make them say Creole man not for buy land and an upline. But Creoles are not bad people. Creole then just aristocratic. Now so then they say then they make aristo. Because what you do now with man we don't mend them. Now with man then they be don't learn and copy from them. So then bring and cow with them. So it is not about, waiting and call Mr. Sheila, I pass on to you, sir.
No. Well, like I say, this has nothing to do with tribe. The Creole are who they are. I mean, this same statement by Mami Gaba could have been made by Mrs. Michael Calon. Would people have been justified in saying, oh, Minde people feel better? No. So, I mean, certain things are not even worthy of dealing with. If they get factual basis, we can debate and we can discuss them. But just for come out with this outlandish, baseless finger pointing, it don't make any sense to me. That's all I can say.
Thank you, sir. And Professor, you get anything? But I mean, you say, well, cook soup where you don't put all the seasoning there inside it. You can put Maggi, you can put this, you can put cook sweet. But if you not put pinch salt, Creole na the pinch salt. That is pinch salt where they get all the flavor together for let the soup sweet. So we can't cook soup without salt. So Creole na the salt. So we all na one, we all na Sierra Leonean. All the other seasoning them. But let we go to Professor. Let us say in what they call with the can wrap up. But the discussion will continue because this tribalism, this way how they think, would they think say down they better pass down there or down there waiting and call pass down there. Sometimes we get for stop that foolishness there. Because all oil get a level anyway. Where you put water because there are some people, me granny na mende from Masangpaka Pujon district. Me granny can say that aid we come for tot kaka if you fashion them. Me granny bring all in brother picking, cousin picking, they all then they come Freetown. Now we host. Now Freetown, me granny come married to Frobe man. So we all gather together, we all there as one, we all now brother, sister, it not be matter. There was no difference. So Creole, self not a difference. Creole, they say we get person at the line. um let we take, but this is thing, and Mrs. Gaba don't give and stuff, not because na Creole it means say better pass we, but na good advice, we for listen to good advice and stop the foolishness. Let we take the caller, please. Good evening, caller. What's in your name? Who side they call from?
Hello, how are you? Hello.
Good, sir. Go ahead, please. Yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you so much. This is Salone. I call from Sierra Leone, Kenima, at the Eastern region of Salone.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you
Go
so much.
ahead,
The
please.
first place, this one program, I saw like a very educative, but sometimes I become late. I want to give you a menu. I want to make a program schedule for the week, please. I really want to know that. So I don't know when I will come on for listening to program. Because very educative. I become late. That is one. Then secondly, going further, Chernor in the first place, I don't know if you know about the listening program. When you get one system, like when you post a allegation that social media that Facebook page. If somebody want comment on that, maybe don't follow say they comment negatively, they go a contrary review, they try to block you. And I'm find so. If you have a series of allegations against people there, now if somebody step on get your comment on that, even if they go negative for what, accept that. People try to block people on that because they post on Facebook page. But when people they want to contrary to you, they block you. And not fine. And it's a serious allegation. And they posted in the APC, people they posted and they talk about these are all allegations. So people don't evidence. But just advise that when you don't put it, allow people from being you. In that case, I mean, if fair play, I don't talk. Allow the people to comment on it, but you don't give. But you know, make people don't comment negative blog, go contrary to you know, it's a block it. No nice. As I say, when people don't take charge of a article as a gospel too, maybe it might be right to get some a real fact of what they talk, but there's some not a fact. So again, as I've been saying the last night, whatever evidence they get, pray forward to anti-corruption instead to help in the fight against corruption in this country. It's a good way. I wish you blow. For me, and me, I've to know already. When they post time the Facebook way, they allow people there for comment. They don't try to block people there because some of them go contrary to your view. And that works. So not so democracy play. Comment to Fatima Bill. Fatima Bill really might get lapses. They do well. But sometimes maybe also see people don't like a phone. They get a position now in this country. They don't do like with the first thing. Now she's the first leader of this particular nation. Yeah. So whatever they talk, they have to be careful what they talk. You see? Don't miss out. Really do what they try, they do well. Or maybe utterances not going to be well for the people there. You see? Don't miss out the advice. So the advice of the beginning, I hope say people have very take rules for advice. You know, when get the question of trust, they therefore be able to live for that particular question. And that means your advice will be say what help. So what's going to be trusted. So there one small change where may allow people to go try to do. What I don't talk last, I mean what I talk for I want to the program may do a schedule of the week. When compared to salon time, go like it on. Compared to salon time, please. I can really
Okay.
I thank you so much.
Thank you. Normally come on 3 p.m. Eastern
8:45.
Standard Time.
8:45.
8:45.
8:45.
8
Salon
o'clock.
time.
8 o'clock. Okay. We can 3 o'clock America time, 8 o'clock Salon time. Every night. So sometimes I know we can call late small with a try for count time, but sometimes we get all the life them way, we get so sometimes things can happen, we can late. But yeah, and Mr. Chernor hopefully go there now we platform next week because I don't try for schedule with him. He say go get back to me. So maybe next week, the 28th, maybe if he schedule no conflict with my own schedule, what I don't ask him for, he go come now. So and I hope so he go call back and talk to him that 10 day. So thank you so much, my brother. Let we take caller because this is not the voice of silence, like I can always say, and and una important, una matter, una comment them. Sometimes una get to read all, not so selective. I will let una know that because I appreciate every single one of una where they come for contribute and watch and pass the word around. Let we get this discussion because you don't take, where we they try for talk. Let they talk to the government. Then caller, good evening. What's in your name? Where they call from? Hello, caller. Good evening. Name, please. Where they call from? Okay, we don't lost the color them. Okay. Well, let we wrap up. Professor, you read this conversation where they go on, but then Creole they make like say them better, Sierra Leone, and then they treat Creole like say Creole better pass all the other tribe them. But me say Creole na the soup, na the salt, where you don't put all the seasoning, the ingredients, all then jetty, then you eat the lily salt, the salt, now they gather all thing together now. That's we all na Sierra Leonean, and we all get we roll and we all get we side. So Professor, go ahead and please let you
When we the hold then kind of a senior so then kind of discussion, it help bring out, in we CSF, we 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 the main how they look at things, the way they look at the country. The thing we don't humble winner salon again, and as we go, we see how they help. This we affinity with which we tribe, and usa will come out, and usai we leader them. Now, Mrs. Gaba, she might have been born in Freetown, but Mrs. Gaba touched the lives of even country people. Them we're gonna FSSG, not to Creole people. They no more go there. You get, for example, this man or one of the major politicians, Saleh Yusuf Sherif, in Peking gonna FSSG. Okay, he go there. So let's stop for the joy things them from this, tribal or regional. No do that things on, like the person, like the job where Mrs. Gaba do, now job that it help every womanhood, in order to become in a Creole, in order for put Mrs. Bio down. But it gets to a point you take leadership. You don't look in, well, this na young lady, this he needs some guidance. No guidance. So we the appeal to all aspect listeners and say we not go encourage the politics of tribalism or regionalism or anything. We now the one close one na green, white, and blue now when meaning that waiting good you now see behind the chief host now green, white, and blue flag 90 that is symbolized saying we all aside the unison now. So we want a show now. Say we now we not go, we're not a part of that. And by God power will continue for appeal to the calculus of other Salionians and follow put Salion first and put the Salion first. Now for talk about the issues them, not be broad-minded, not be open-minded as we talk about issues them. Then we look for solutions them. But not that could have been any other person, just like Mr. Shina Talker. It could have been Mrs. Elsie McCallum. Also, suppose I go advise her lady. Oh, one talks, then you think so the people they will say, oh well, look at it. They mean the people and they think so they better pass it. No. So then finally, what you need for do now, the administration now get for come out and try let somebody come out, a big person and they say, hey, wait a minute. All of this year go take a course. I make parliament not decide for candidate. The business of governance get for continue. We cannot afford to get caught up in this kind of no. Even now when they may get the impeachment, the business of the United States continue. The impeachment day, while governance continue. Yes, we like all the tell don't come now. Make parliament on decide say then go candidate. Then go come, then consolidate everything into context and perspective, then go lay out the case to it. But in the meantime, the business of governance in the country is for continue. So now my contribution that to tonight's discussion.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Schiller. Again, anything for add? This
No, ma'am. I
interesting
think I
Creole,
just say
Creole.
everything I can say, but like I say, it is not a tribalistic thing. So you're not gonna have to go do tribalism. We just get for rise above that, like Mr. Kutubu say, and certain things, even if we address them, we not for address them with too much seriousness because we know that's not the issue. This is a diversionary thing, or some people and we get shallow mentality, then go always come up with anything in there. But we know better. We to talk about substance. We talk about what's good for SALONE. I mean, there will come a day where we will even address issues such as cabinet composition, whether it should be looked at or it should be based on the tribe the president is from. When not to that one tribe they put in a power, but that's a subject matter of another issue. Because all these things, it's easy for we for talk, but we cannot only talk the talk, we get for walk the walk. So for the fair tribalism, we get for fair time in all forms like corruption. So, but that's the subject of another matter. But me not see any tribalism here. Mamegaba just happened to be a highly dignified, highly respected, highly educated, highly renowned somebody who just happens to be Creole. But Australian first and foremost, and so be it. It is what it is.
It is what it is indeed. It is what it is indeed. It is what it is.
So that's all I have to say.
You know, we get forget away from tribe, we get forget away from people thinking, because this thing, nothing went on there on for long, you know, tribalism, and we cannot, it just like racism in a way, where they sweep her under the wrong, then it explode, and then it become, it put we pan problem, it put we country, it put we down, and when I've been small and get then Creole picking, then Muslim picking, then country picking, we all the mix na school. As long as you picking get sense, then Creole them been get the school there, when then be the principal them, but as long as you picking get sense, everybody they come. Once you pass the pass and you get the score where you supposed forget. You know, and this is a real thing though, where we they listen to so. This is a real thing and the feelings of Sierra Leoneans. And this is how they see it, and this is how they think. And until we reflect in and look at ourselves and search with self, forget away for free with souls. We're prisoners of our minds. We are trapped in our minds and our thought process and the conditioning that we have gone through. For divide we. And a woman, a distinguished woman come up, but then bring the tribe inside for take away the importance of the message. It is sad. Where I be small, then they read the news in Mende, Timini, Limba, Loko, Creole, Yalonka, Koanko, Gizi, and what's in the other one, Fula, I think, or whatever. Kabaslot and Kotoku, Kapu sense no Kapu word, Salako Maxwell, where they read the use na Creole, then it come to the Mende, the Mende read and a Mende, we all na one na Sierra Leonean, until we come together, until we heal ourselves and our differences and let's go and forgive, because some people them we been lily, we been they admire. Sometimes then Creole, they like use Creole as example. Or them people there, where them people them be then at the city, where they able to afford Kingsway chemist, where sometimes they're not able to afford much. They been get that resentment, because I've talked to people that are very educated that still have that mentality in them. Say trade, they make like them better pass. We now we all don't learn the same book, so then for come and bow to we. I mean, these are people that are educated. These are the conversations that people are having, and you go, it's scary. But until we forget, until we let go of we perception, sometimes it's just our perception. It's not the truth. It's not a fact. It's just with perception, because of we conditioning, and we know they see the truth. We know they come until we're grounded in the self and able to see the truth in ourselves. Then we'll go able for project love and peace and togetherness and work as one for see the whole of Sierra Leone, majority of people them go forward. We get for change. And corruption is an ongoing thing. Corruption is a live mechanism. Corruption is a fight that we must fight, and a fight that we must win, says the president of Sierra Leone. So together, no matter your person, no matter your tribe, no matter what, we have to fight it. If wrong is wrong, let us not make excuses for wrong. If things have been done wrong, let we call them, like we see them, let we not dress them and put lipstick there and make them fine. Because in the end, now we people them, they suffer. I can always say why they grew up, there was middle class. Now we don't get middle class. There's no net to hold us together. There's no middle class. Now poor or rich. Thank God for the diaspora family them, where they support them people them and try for help them people them forget that themselves in Africa. Only a handful of people will survive. God bless the diaspora and families. where they think of them people. And if you don't at the diaspora, you know they think of give you posting 1 cent. You know they think of give you posting something. Try give somebody something. Give. Let we help one another. Yes, we have been burnt. Yes, we've been hurt. Yes, they have lied to us. Yes, they've done this. Yes, they've done everything. But if we want for help with people, them, if we want for help with country, let we all team up as one word and demand better from we governments than what they put in a power. Not a God put us in a power. Now we choose, now we choice. Me not believe saying that God they put in a power. Now we choice because sometimes we see it and we just want for lay person. They're not destiny is not destiny. There are times there's destiny, but there are times when we continuously they put the wrong people, and Africa is still backward. Tell we they're backward, not to God. Oh, God no one for they will suffer. God no one for the people, and then Africa picking and they with big belly and malnourished and this and that. What the wet man be left with before he go? We be against them, they get school to all them municipal school, them they get condo. We be they call them condo. We they go Catholic school. We not be the H condo, they laugh then the H condo. But Bulgur, now most nutritious food inside America, for buy one small packet Bulgur na $4. Then be the give to the picking them for try for nourish and help them. But when we young people then take power, we young people, where is the love? Where is the humanity? Where is the love for we serve? No, we're able for make, for give people and the decency, for able for actualize them potential, maximize them potential, and able for we all they need is dignity. They able work for themselves. Give them work. Provide the environment and the conditions. That's all we're asking for. That's all we the beg for. That's all we the plea for. We go pray from January to December. We go cry to the God. What is slave them again? It's 400 years. The same mentality of Africans. We praying. Nothing not happen until one woman begin the underground railroad. One woman. They say no, enough is enough. Change will come with one voice. When one voice begin, it capture the rest of them. You have to do this. We get for do that. That today they emancipate slavery and then make for end them. With the fight and the coordination and all together, people then begin come, voices begin come, generation after generation. We are not perfect in America, don't get me wrong. We are not all free in America, don't get me wrong. The system is still get corruption, but it's way better than how we young people then they live. We say we don't want with man, but every time we turn to them, we hand this so. Then give we credit card, we go overdraft, but we think we they take credit card, they will not able to pay for, and then give we high interest. All them things, then they don't we be in. But me, I go left una for today. All I can say, look at yourself. Inspect yourself, inspect your mind. Go within. Find that peace, that solace. Learn for let go and forgive and look at the bigger picture. But first, you have to heal, because if you torment inside, if you confuse inside, if your mind is polluted inside, you will not think. On the plane, they say, where you are traveling, whether they do the briefing. If you are traveling with somebody that is younger and needs help, put the mask on your face first. Put the oxygen on your face first. When you put the oxygen on your face, then you get strength for able for help other people. But if you don't have love, how are you going to give love? You can't give love. You can't care. All you want to do is destroy. And then they destroy we country. Then they destroy us pinch by pinch. Everybody they pinch. 60 years. And to Mrs. Fatima Bio, I hope and pray you see the message where Mrs. Gaba they come to you with. It is not about for put you down. It is not about for molest you, but it is about say we have to do this. We have to do an intervention for we first lady. So till next week, I say go be on beautiful. Go be on you. Work on yourself. Work on yourself, because if you don't work on yourself, you can't heal the world. You can't heal nobody. It's a constant daily thing where you do. Check yourself. Look within. It's there. It's there. Sometimes we lose ourselves through problems and trials of the world, but we have it within us. Find that strength within. We have it. We can do it together. Mendeti mini limba loko ko anko madingo soso fula ya lonka loko Maraka, whatever tribe is in Freetown. I don't remember against all the tribe them. But if I not call you tribe, not kill me. But we all can do it together. We not go agree all the time. We will not be in one team all the time. But anything that makes for national issues, let's push it. So till next week, I love you all. Remember, God is love. We're still, the struggle continues unabated, but we hopeful. Sometimes I give up. Sometimes I'm tired. I'm like, God, are we really ready? Do we really want this? But I love you all. God is love. Go make a difference. Go speak kind words to somebody. Go give a hug. Somebody needs just a word. Somebody needs just your silence, just your presence. Just listen. Sometimes we don't have to say a word, but we just get for listen to somebody say, I'm here for you. What are we doing? We say we bless. Oh, it is blessed. A blessing, a blessing, a blessing, a blessing. But then the blessing, what do we do to help other people to make life better? So I love you all, and God is love. I salute you. Have a safe and blessed week and productive week. And I see you all next week by the grace of God. They go give you long life and we'll go come back. So thank you so much. Good night. God bless. Thank you.
So that we go live